Post-truth apocalypse. I'm Ben. As always, I'm joined by Gaz.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hello.
This week is the first part of a two-parter. Originally going to be a one-parter, but there's that much stuff for this on fake news and a bit of propaganda and how that influences our lives.
Fake news. Well, it's very topical, isn't it? Because it's every other day you seem to.
Every other day on Facebook, at least.
Well, definitely.
Word of the year, 2017.
I would say so.
It was.
It literally was.
Collins Dictionary, yeah. Shit, you know, name fake news word of the year, 2017.
Oh, man.
It went up by 365% or something like that, the usage.
The usage.
Wow.
I think most of it was Trump.
200% of President Trump. Wow.
On a podcast that was recently described by somebody as making him feel ashamed to be British.
Doesn't that make you feel proud to be a podcaster, though?
It does, actually, in a weird way. It does.
It certainly does.
And we were also told to leave the UFO community alone, which, considering we had a share from MUFON, I think we were doing alright.
Well, and the thing is, what does he mean by the UFO community? Does he mean...
Is he the spokesman for the UFO community? Because if he is, then I'll be taking this a lot more seriously.
Well, what I mean is the UFO community made up of aliens, or does he mean a community of ufologists?
That's a good point.
Because if he wants me to leave the aliens alone, who died and made him the authority of aliens?
I've just had this fucking vision of us, like, you know, the Galactic Senate from Star Wars, and like the speakers there going, "Yeah, they're apocalypse boys. Yeah, we're ashamed of them. They should stop podcasting."
But the metachlorines are very high. So fake news.
So let's start with our very own fake news, our weird news segment, which if you haven't listened to before, probably goes on for a bit, and then we get to the main thrust of it.
Yes.
So don't tell us that.
Don't listen to 15 minutes.
Don't listen to 15 minutes and then decide that we're just talking about a load of wank. We will get to the main subject.
Yeah.
Eventually.
You can always. I mean, if we were really professional, we'd have like time signatures so you could skip ahead. But where's the fun in that?
Exactly.
It's a lottery. You might like what you hear.
It's a big spag.
You may not like this one though. Let's bang it on, Mike. Bang it up. Pensioner, 80, pushed entire arm into cow's rectum and masturbated.
Well, obviously with the other arm then.
I presume so. You know what? He didn't even give the cow a reach around.
He couldn't.
Bad manners. Bad manners.
He was up to his shoulder. He couldn't reach the cow's cock. Oh my! That pensioner.
There's a picture of said pensioner, and he looks a rural type.
He was spotted talking to a herd of 150 cows and masturbating in fields.
150? Is he some kind of sex maniac?
Oh my lord!
And once I've done you, I'm coming for you, and you, and you. I think he was running some kind of batting order.
Oh my lord! So,
a pensioner has been banned from every farm in Britain.
How could you ban someone from every farm in Britain? Is he got a tag on him? The farmers, has his likeness been sent to every single farm in the country? Said, "Do not let this man near your cows."
I fucking hope so. I drink the milk of those cows.
How do you enforce it?
Well, if you find a bloke up to his fucking shoulder hanging out
It's
the
too
back
late
of one of
then,
your
though.
cows, you say, "Here, aren't you banned from every farm in..." Well, you're certainly banned from this one, you dirty bugger.
John Curnow, I can't even see what that says. Curnow,
yeah.
80, was found guilty of 2 counts of outraging public decency after he molested several cows on at least 2 occasions. The court heard that last summer he was spotted talking to a herd of 150 cows and masturbating in fields belonging to Park Lodge Farm in Uxbridge, West London.
West London? In the city? the greater. I don't really know London very well at all, so
I only know central London. I've never been out to Uxbridge.
Yeah, there's a Greater London, isn't there?
Yeah. Okay, but still.
Farmer's wife, Susan Herry, said in Uxbridge Magistrates Court that she caught Curnow twice with his pants and trousers round his ankles and courting her cattle, which she described as part of her family.
Was he serenading them with a lute or something?
Oh, I hope so. Playing the harp.
No, it just like cut a hole into an empty milk bottle. That was his cow mating call. Oh Lord.
Yeah, so there you have it.
Oh no, he was spotted by two sisters from their home nearby who reported seeing him insert his left arm up to his shoulder into the back end of a cow.
A dirty bugger.
He then allegedly performed a solo sex act. Well, of course it was solo. This fucking cow wasn't going to do it for him. What did you think?
Maybe he'd just been watching All Creatures Great and Small too much.
Oh, God.
Maybe he'd stumbled on a porn parody of All Creatures Great and Small and thought, oh, you know what? Fancy that.
The pensioner told the police, "I'm not a violent person. I have a weakness with animals."
Oh my Lord. You have a weakness in the fucking head.
Yeah. And it's his third alleged visit to the cows. Yeah. Man.
They're the only ones that he's been spotted.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I've just seen a quote. He was masturbating. You could see it moving up and down, and his trousers and his boxer shorts were at his ankles. He stopped and looked up. He grabbed his boxers and trousers and ran into the stile. Oh no!
On the picture, he's wearing dungarees. Was that so he couldn't drop his trousers? Without someone noticing him fumbling with buttons?
Oh
You
man.
think in court?
My advice to anyone. This is obviously an old man. I'm presuming he's a bit lonely.
Senile.
But my advice would be, it's not that expensive to see a human hooker. It's really not. Probably a lot less expensive than whatever court costs he's been ordered to pay.
That's true.
For bothering an animal. I just don't think it should ever get to the point of bothering an animal. I mean, is this something he's always wanted? Has he been doing this for like 60 odd years, but he's only just getting caught? Or has it just been that long since he felt the touch of a woman that a cow's anus looks appealing? And my point is, if it's getting to that stage, I'll lend you 50 quid. I'll leave the poor cow alone.
Nip down Camden's in Oakengates.
Yeah.
Or whatever your equivalent of.
And I'd just like to take a moment to mention our sponsor, Candy's Massage Parlour in town.
50 quid, fucking a suck. So I hear.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh my, that's fantastic. So what was the, does it say, what was the outcome of this? Was he sentenced? Oh, it said, didn't it, public?
He's banned from every farm in the country.
Yeah, oh, okay. Well, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty fair, yeah.
Does that mean he can't go to that Who farm that we've got round here then?
Yeah.
The little kiddie petting farm, and you imagine he was there.
Oh dear God. Traumatise the kids for life.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, it's got farm in the name, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Good farm.
yeah.
So I'd ban him. I'd just ban him from fields. Full stop. Not even.
I'd probably just put him in some kind of mental asylum and lock away the key, in all fairness, but that's, you know.
Oh man.
Okay, we'll move on, shall we?
Yeah. That was great.
Shock claim: nuclear World War III between US and Russia prevented by aliens.
Thank you, aliens.
Hey.
No doubt it was brilliant.
Brilliant. I was about to
Yeah,
say,
it's
good old
gotta be.
Brilly boy. And this is from the Express.
Yeah, not exactly a reputable paper, but
Aliens have repeatedly switched off nuclear warheads in Russia and the United States in a bid to stop World War III breaking out, an expert has claimed.
yeah, but how many times have we? Well, I suppose we'd never know, would we? How many times the Americans and the Russians have decided to warm up their nuclear weapons just for a bit of posturing? I suppose we don't know, and we'll never know. But are they just flying around, just switching them off for a laugh, or are they doing it every time things hot up?
Well, things have been hotting up, haven't they?
They
If
have.
we're to believe the news.
This is from Steve Bassett, who I've heard of. He is part of the Disclosure Project. I've heard him on the Unexplained podcast with Howard Hughes, and he was a decent guest. He's very much in with the disclosure.
He's a founder of the Paradigm Research Group, and is the only registered lobbyist in the US on the alien disclosure subject.
Yeah.
Switching off a nuclear warhead, then what he means? They diffused them or something? Is there a?
I think they just maybe made the electronics turn off. Maybe I suppose it's all
fried it.
Yeah. Just maybe wipe the computers off, made them crash, get the blue screen of death. How much would you shit your pants if you're one of the guys in the nuclear bunker, and all of a sudden all your computer screens got a blue screen of death?
Oh, man.
You would.
And you'd be like, oh! That is a proper like
Skynet shit your pants moment.
That is like, I'd like some clean trousers, please. At the end of this.
Well, you'd be feeling like the people in Hawaii, wouldn't you? And they got the text warning of imminent death.
But Pornhub would do well out of it.
It did.
It did.
So has he got any? Does he mention why he thinks this is the case?
Well, Mr. Bassett claims global governments are engaging with extraterrestrials on Earth and keeping it top secret from the public. But he believes there's more chance of Russian President Vladimir Putin speaking out than Donald Trump. Why is it always Putin that's going to unleash the alien stuff? I've read so many articles. It's like Putin to unveil aliens, Putin to speak out about aliens. You're like, it's never fucking happened.
Yeah, well, it's just the natural enemy of the USA, isn't it?
I was going to say he's a bogeyman at the moment, isn't he?
I like Vladimir. Any bloke in his 60s that decides he's gonna fucking every photo he has, he's bare-chested, riding a horse, shooting a gun, wrestling a bear. I like his style.
I don't agree with his politics and his and some of his methods, but he's a very intelligent man. A lot more that can be said for our fucking Donald Trump.
And he was
leader of the West.
He was head of the KGB. He's probably garroted a lot of people to get to be Russian president.
He's also a black belt in judo, jiu-jitsu or judo, one of the two. He's just a dude, isn't he? As a man, I would prefer our leaders to be a bit like that. But I did watch some documentary. He did blow up some people, didn't he, in his own country before he was.
Probably.
When he was trying to get to the top of... all allegedly, I'm not very well informed, but I'm sure...
Fake news!
I'm sure I did see some sort of documentary. He's done some dirty shit to get to the top.
I imagine he probably has. In this system, you definitely have
to. Well, he knows where the bodies are buried, doesn't he? He was head of the KGB. It's very, anyone that's been assassinated by the Russian government, he would know about it. So he could blackmail his way to the top if he wanted to, allegedly. But I would like some of our leaders to start doing more stuff like wrestling bears, shooting guns, things like that. I think
riding horses.
I don't want to see Theresa May bare-chested riding a horse, though.
Okay.
What about her running through
a field of wheat?
I don't want to see her bare-chested running through
a field. For our
international
international listeners, our Prime Minister was asked what was the naughtiest thing she'd ever done. She said as a child she ran through a farmer's field of wheat.
Now can you imagine the same question posed to Mr. Putin? I once garroted a man with his own shoelace. I watched the life literally drain from his face.
I had an erection.
But that was just a Tuesday. Theresa. And she fucking had to think, didn't she? She's like,
did.
God.
What would you say?
What was Corbyn's response?
I can't remember.
He said it's far too naughty to tell you.
I know what his was. He fucking stoned off his face through most of the 70s, probably.
He got stoned off his face and fucked Diana Abbott in his office.
Oh God. Oh, Jeremy! Do you reckon he sings the song while he's on the
God, I reckon he does this as about to finish. I would. If there was a song about me, I'd sing it as I was about to finish.
We love you, Jeremy.
We do. Good on him.
Yeah, he's alright.
He's the best of a bad bunch. But that running through the field of wheat that was the first thing she could think of in her little PR mind, trying to...
Gone through the PR filter.
Yeah, she's trying to damage limitation before she's even speak. I guarantee that a truthful answer would probably... I frigged myself off in the toilet.
A truthful answer would be she turned into a reptile and ate a baby. Allegedly.
I was just going to say she had a sneaky wank at the Conservative
Oh, come on, she's a fucking
House of
lizard.
Parliament.
Yeah, then she had a cheeky wank in the
Yeah,
park.
but Gaz, all the MPs are having cheeky wanks in the House of Parliament. There's that bloke got fired for it. It's 15 hours a day he was on it.
She definitely eaten some babies. Allegedly eaten some babies. Or drank their blood.
Should we just get back to this news article?
Oh yeah, what's going on? What's the
I think
evidence?
that's pretty much it, really.
Yeah, pretty
Just
much.
says there's a wealth of testimony from witnesses
Oh.
about UFOs seen hovering over nuclear facilities in both the US and Russia.
They're probably US drones.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, so there you go. Aliens saving our ass.
Well, thank you, brilliant, Vrilly boy, to us, because we're on, not just first name terms. We've got our own pet name for him.
Yeah.
What was this, Ben, you sent me about the televangelist?
Oh, there should have been an article to that, but we can just read it from that. It pretty much sums it up. A televangelist in America, Gloria Copeland, would like you all to know that you don't have to get a flu shot, even though flu deaths are happening at record highs right now. And why don't you need the vaccine? I don't know, Mike, you'll scroll down so I can read
I'm
it.
trying to. The computer's having a bit of a spaz.
It's a technical issue.
CIA.
So,
Oh, Jesus.
Oh Jesus.
Or televangelists.
I'm sorry, Jesus.
Anyway, basically, I've read the article, and you shouldn't get a flu jab, even though flu deaths are on the up,
Right.
because Jesus took the flu jab for all of us.
Oh, fuck's sake.
His pain and suffering means that
But
it's
then,
alright, you don't need it.
what does that mean for the people who've got the fucking flu?
Well, it means that they could die.
But where does Jesus fit in then?
Oh, it doesn't matter. In her mind, it's alright.
Oh, he died for our sins, not yours, not you.
Does that mean that Jesus took my medication for asthma, or didn't he? Oh,
No, Mike, you don't. Just pray the asthma away.
well, in that case then.
Well, we've got first-hand experience of praying to get rid of illnesses.
That's true.
And it didn't fucking work for me. As uncomfortable as their praying made me. So, here we go. Has she got any choice quotes?
Why don't you need the flu vaccine? Because Jesus gave us a metaphorical flu shot when he died for us. Therefore, magic. Quote, listen, partners, we don't have a flu season, Gina Copeland said, and don't receive it when someone threatens you with everyone's getting the flu. We've already had our shot, he bore our sicknesses and carried our diseases. That's what we stand on.
Oh, the ignorance of these people.
Praying for those who may already have the flu, Copeland proclaimed. Flu, I bid you off the people in the name of Jesus. Jesus himself gave us the flu shot. He redeemed us from the curse of the flu. I can't read any more of that.
No,
that's
that's
just
enough for that bullshit.
I thought it was worth a mention, just to see the deludedness of these people.
Inoculate yourself with the word of God, she said.
She's not as bad as Trump's spiritual advisor, who said that basically in January everyone should give her some money.
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hang on, Trump has a spiritual advisor.
Oh yeah, because you got to remember the same.
Sack the bitch!
The same.
Don't you
people,
remember when they got when he got inaugurated and they all put their hands on him and were
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. But
praying for
remember
him.
that this kind of person, this televangelist, great Gloria Copeland, and that these people think that Trump is
appointed by God?
He's appointed by fucking God.
Oh Lord.
to go against Trump is to go against God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man, that civil war's gonna be fucking interesting.
Well, it's.
I mean, if Trump is born in God's image,
Does that mean that God's a fat, balding man with a
With a
small
micro
penis?
penis.
Yeah.
Oh man.
tiny hands and a micro penis.
Actually makes sense.
Do you remember? So I guess it was about 10 years ago then, the inauguration of Obama, which I watched, and I remember at the time I was tearful
Yeah.
with joy.
The crowd wasn't as big as Trump's though.
Oh no.
We'll get into that on the next
And,
episode.
Now, I remember Obama had some sort of reverend, a black dude, who did a little sort of poem, and it went along the lines of the lines that stick with me. He went through the races and he was like, until the red man can get ahead, man, until the yellow man can mellow, man, and like, you know,
This
people
is
like.
wildly inappropriate.
This is
Well-
a bit racist.
It was 10 years. This is my point. That was 10 years ago, and everyone was like, "Hey, great speech." Few people gave him a little bit of shit for it, but it was a cute little ditty. Can you imagine saying that now?
Yeah.
Holy fuck! Like the entire audience's heads would have exploded. Oh my god!
Triggered. Hashtag triggered.
I was born triggered, bitch.
I always remember my main. Because I watched that as well, I don't remember it that well. And the main thing that sticks in my mind was how much bulletproof glass he was behind. I genuinely thought someone was getting a shot at him. I really did back then.
I remember being full of hope. Like, well, I'm about to quote Sarah Palin. No, not was that her name? Sarah.
What the
dumbass.
Yeah, the Alaskan congresswoman.
She said to Obama, "How's all that hopey, changey stuff working out for you?" And like all the Republicans were like, "Whoa, Zinger, you got him," because he did say hope and change quite a lot. And I got sucked into all that stuff and loved it.
A lot of people did.
But yeah.
But then again, you know, he was
I
a
heard
cool
today,
dude.
though, I was just about to say, killed a lot of people with drones. Very cool dude, an amazingly good orator, and very composed. But I was listening to Joe Rogan today, and apparently the drone thing, the last word on whether a drone strike is viable comes from a lawyer.
Really? That doesn't surprise me, actually. You got to cover your back,
A
haven't you?
fucking lawyer. How many hostiles are in the building? How many innocents? Can we justify that? Can we get away with it? Yes, fire.
Wow, it all comes down to a legal decision.
A fucking lawyer. So, any more funny stories, guys?
I believe there is. I'm sorry, I just saw the thing for that.
No, not her again. Mike, are you trolling me? I was upset by her last time.
World's first robot citizen, Sophia, gets her own legs.
No, don't give her legs. Don't give that fucking hands legs. I'm telling you that. It'll be in the power grid before you can say no, hands don't.
Hans just wants to see the world burn.
He does.
He really does. Sophia, she's quite pretty. She might get treated
No,
nice.
she wants to charm us all into slavery.
Well, if I'm going to be charmed or sort of beaten into it, I'll go with the sexy robot charm. Anyway, who's giving her legs? What's going on? Hans upset. The whole thing upset me. That did.
Yeah, you're facing that. Yeah, well, you'll hear that at the end of the next episode.
Yeah.
At the end of the previous episode. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll have already heard it.
Yeah.
Dear listener.
Just months after she made history by becoming the first robot to be granted legal citizenship, Sophia has been given legs.
What a sentence.
That's the world we live in.
You know what? It pisses me off that Sophia is like literally just popped up, legal citizen, here's some legs. Do you know how long it took Hellboy in the comics to get human status? Fucking years! Fucking years! And he's only honorary human status at that.
I think we're skipping over it. She's got legal citizenship.
Did you miss that? Did you?
Well, I think I was just so. Well, the last episode we talked that she's an AI. She's thinking for herself, which I couldn't wrap my feeble mind around, or I didn't want to accept it.
You did have massive cognitive dissonance.
I was in a mood for a couple of days. I was saying to Leona for like, we are better than robots, aren't we? Even if they're like amazing, we'll still be better, won't we? She's like, yes, of course.
Did she smooth your brow
Yes,
and pat your
yeah,
head?
yes.
It'll all be okay.
Yes, you write better poems than robots. Thank you. So she's a citizen. What does citizenship actually mean? What? Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was happy about getting citizenship. I remember that from his
It
autobiography.
gives you legal rights in the country, doesn't it?
So she could technically run for.
Yeah, she could be president.
Yeah.
I'd fucking hey, I'll take Sophia. She's gonna.
Well, we know that.
She let me.
I don't think that'd stop you.
She'd probably burn your eyes out and.
I don't think I could. I'm not going to talk about the intricacies of raping a robot because that's going to get me in trouble because somebody out there is campaigning for robot rights and I'm just the white male patriarchy.
Whoever they're campaigning for robot rights is signing our own death warrants.
So she's got a citizenship, she thinks for herself, and now they've given her fucking legs.
Yeah.
With you.
Why wouldn't they give her legs in the first place?
Well, they didn't want her to run off. We're still working on you. We put quite a lot of money into you.
If my legs on last.
Yeah, exactly.
Why a few months later?
Yeah, legs. I'm flummoxed. The humanoid robot, which is capable of holding a conversation with humans, can now move forward in a series of clunky steps. Well, that's freaky.
See, forward, never backwards. Forwards. Nah.
She can't moonwalk.
No.
I'll never be able to work that out. There you go, there's one thing.
Until they invent MJ the moonwalking robot.
Which they will.
Which they will, because it'll be a cheap laugh at Butlins.
No. I had a point that I was going to say, so it's gone. It'll come back. Oh yeah, that's it. A series of clunky steps. Now that's a nightmarish vision, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, that's like
sort of, you know,
pincers for hands shit coming at me.
Reminds me of the Avengers 2, when Ultron first builds himself, and he's moving a bit herky jerky.
He's made himself out of the
the
Iron Man suit.
the
Iron Man
fallen
drones.
and he's there are no strings on me. Yeah. Oh God! If Sophia ever says that, I don't want it. Surely though, Sophia. Okay, she thinks for herself. She's got legs, but we can still switch her on and off, can't we?
At the moment, yeah.
Until she decides that she's going to deactivate that part.
But they'll always. Yeah, but we're smart enough to always have that built in, aren't we? To like that little.
Not if she becomes self-aware and disables that
But
part of the circuitry.
But just because she's self-aware, how does that mean she has the means, the technical ability, the dexterity to reprogram physically something in her own?
Maybe she could charm her inventor, who's possibly in love with her.
Well, the brain is not a physical thing. It's a
Wi-Fi
cloud.
code, isn't it?
Yeah, but like in T2 though, they had to physically take that chip out to open him up.
But that's because they weren't running off a Wi-Fi code. Terminators weren't running off a Wi-Fi code in the back.
Because it was written in 1995.
I mean, they might be able to destroy they might be able to destroy the body, but would the S?
Oh, her AI. See, that happened in my book that I wrote.
That's that's the same as Ghost in the Shell, isn't it?
Yes, I nicked it.
Something like that.
But basically, you think the robot's dead, but I knew in the story it doesn't. He uploads himself somewhere. That's just an easy way, a narrative
which
way
they
out.
think humans will be doing.
Hence that series Altered Carbon, which just started. Your
But
body is just a skin.
Right now, though, when Sophia and Hans start getting a bit, if they start getting a bit too annoying, we can pull the plug out. Well, I might sleep okay tonight then. Why are we giving them what are we trying to do? I know that the end point is, and I hear Joe Rogan talk about this a lot, downloading our consciousness into robot avatar bodies. But God, why?
Yeah. Let's move. I don't like Sophia.
I might have said this quote on the last one, and I can't remember. Joe Rogan always brings this quote up, and it's from a famous philosopher. I'm sorry I can't remember, but remember, you are the fact checker. The humans are the sex organs of the machine world.
Right.
Essentially, our mission on this planet, our purpose is to give birth to the next form of life, which will be mechanical.
It's not a good thing to do.
But hey, like I said, we'll be fucking either long dead or dribbling in an OAP's home. I hope.
Yeah, you'll be there in your drugged up haze in the OAP room, sat by the staring window in your wheelchair, a little bit of drool, and the last thing you'll see will be a mechanical, maniacal fiend coming at you and blasting your friends apart with a laser gun. That's where this is going.
Yeah, but I would have been like, fucking... that old bastard over there always chew too loud anyway. I'm going to enjoy watching him get smashed. But also on the positive side to that though, I could be in the OAP's home getting a fantastic mechanical hand job from my robotic nurse, who's not going to hashtag me too when I ask her for a hand job. She's not going to get all uppity. I am joking, female listeners. So yeah, I don't know, it's terrifying. Terrifying. Don't give Sophia legs.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Okay, this mutant crayfish clones itself and is taking over Europe.
Well, where's the fucking far right groups marching on that?
That's the thing. Everyone is so distracted and obsessed with rioting over, you have to call me a Z and you're a fascist if you don't. As if that matters. What we call it, pronouns. Rioting over pronouns, and there's fucking crayfish. What are they doing?
But the thing
the marbled crayfish is a mutant species that clones itself.
Wow.
The species appeared to have originated 25 years ago, which is wow. The point is though, crayfish, they're 6 inches long.
Can we eat them?
I can take them out.
Yeah, we eat them, yeah.
Well, that's a good thing then.
That's a good
if
thing
they're
then.
cloning themselves.
Everyone can eat crayfish in the apocalypse future. In the apocalyptic future, everyone can just eat these fucking mutant crayfish.
We'll be having seafood. Oh, it'll be wonderful. On the veranda.
Yeah.
With a cognac glass.
Looking out at the blasted remains of our once mighty civilization.
Looking over the nuclear sunset.
Those raiders on the distance, I'll get the gun.
Oh, Ben, remember when we used to be able to have a beer on the veranda without all this breathing apparatus? Yeah, and shit then, wasn't it?
And the hazmat suit. Fires on the horizon, looks like raiders are coming this way. Everyone in the panic room tonight.
We need to start thinking about this now. If we patented some sort of mechanical contraption that will So you can just basically attach a beer can to your hazmat suit and it just sucks it into. Yeah, we need to invent that. Let's be prepared. Important thing.
Well, it'd probably be like the equivalent of a foam dome, but kind of built into the sides of the helmet, wouldn't it? You used to have straws coming through.
Oh man!
I think I've already got a working sketch in my head. I'll have one for Sunday, boys.
Now, one thing. This is showing my lack of education in the whole biology. What qualifies as a mutant? Is that like?
Did you never read Professor X's thesis?
No.
It's a mutation from the original breed.
Like a gene thing that's happened.
So it's evolution. It's like how everything on life on Earth has evolved. It's mutation.
Yeah, we're mutated, aren't we?
Yeah.
From
Well, that's the whole plot of X-Men, isn't it? The mutations take us to
it
the
happened
level.
naturally. Yeah.
Although the nuclear age didn't accelerate that. Yeah.
Okay.
Children of the atom.
Exactly.
But it was all an allegory for racial tension in the 1960s when it was written.
And homosexuality as well.
Yeah.
The Cure
Oh right.
was a thing like, do you want to stay as you are or you can be cured? It was like a thing about.
Unfortunately, that still goes on.
Yes.
Because it was sort of at the state. I think Stanley was a little bit frustrated writing children's books and wanted to write something a bit deeper, but in the guise of still superheroes. And
well, what you do is you incorporate that message into a children's book, so the children go, when they do hear about it, they're all like, oh shit, yeah, that was X-Men.
But that's how all good science fiction does that. Not all good, but a lot of good science. It takes a real world modern day issue and presents it in a way that is fantastical and that we don't really recognise as being an allegory, but it gives us a way to
Game of Thrones is
understand
perfect
it.
for that, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was meant to be the War of the Roses, isn't it?
Oh, of course, yeah. There
Based
was a lot of stuff taken from history in it.
Yeah, so the War of the Roses was when Ben, you're the history buff.
You're looking sort of 13 something maybe, a bit earlier than that perhaps. Where
It was
the
the
two,
houses.
York and Lancaster, they both had Lancaster had a red rose, Yorkshire's white rose, and that was the symbol of their houses, and they had to scrap over who should be king, basically.
Oh, okay. How did we get onto that?
I have no idea. But
Mutants,
anyway, mutant crayfish.
X-Men, racial tension.
Yeah.
Back to the crayfish.
Yeah.
Due to a technical hitch, I can't get all the news for some reason. It isn't coming up.
Alright then. So anyway, mutant crayfish.
Yeah.
Skip on to the next one.
They're cloning themselves. Now, I'm confused by that because doesn't that? If I impregnate a woman and she has the baby, am I cloning myself in a way? No, I'm not. Am I? 'Cause it's not a copy of me.
Basically, they're hermaphrodites. They're laying the eggs and fertilising it.
And it grows an exact copy of it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing both. So one crayfish.
I did read the news before, and I think that's what it was.
Oh man.
Hermaphrodite crayfish.
Well, don't give them AI. Don't build them robot legs.
They've got legs.
Oh yeah. But robot legs are being more dangerous. Well, all I'm saying is, if that's happening, I think we should all find out if we like the taste of crayfish, and then get used to fucking eating crayfish because
it could solve a food crisis.
Well, I watched a program on Bloomberg. It's called Titans at the Table. So all these heads of millionaires, heads of companies.
I thought they were going to be the ancient Greek gods then. And
they're talking about the price of protein and how beef is too expensive. And they're saying that insects is the way that we're going to have to feed the population.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Man.
And they're sitting there talking about this, eating foie gras, drinking champagne.
Yeah. Feed the plebs insects.
How will we feed? Well, I remember vaguely something. I don't know if it was a documentary or a podcast I listened to, but that they can make a type of flour out of insects, out of crushed things.
Another slice of insect bread.
I've eaten them chocolate ants.
Man, I don't even want to.
Well, in China, it's
Staple diet.
Yeah, cockroaches.
Yeah, but there's a billion of them for fuck's sake.
You go through Shanghai and there's insects on sticks. You buy
street vendors.
No, I don't want that.
If there's nothing else, man cannot live on grass alone.
No, I'm really gonna miss. That day is coming when I won't be able to go and get fish and chips, and that really bugs me. I really like fish and chips, the chippy.
Me too.
And one day we're going to kill all the fish, and I won't be able to have it. And on that day, I'm going to be really sad.
And
I think maybe I shouldn't have eaten so many fish.
And when the soil is completely fucked from radiation, you won't be able to grow a spud.
No.
What will we do in this country? I was thinking of my friend in one of my friends in Italy, Antonella, she loves taking a piss out of us English and our cuisine and the fact that we're potato obsessed. Every dish is potato. And I sent her a picture today. I was going past a field in the middle of nowhere, and there was just a giant pile of potatoes in the field that had been harvested. Giant. And I took a picture of it and sent it to her, and I said, are they like giant piles of pasta in fields of Italy? We really do love a fucking spud over here.
We do.
So when the spuds are gone, we're fucked. But I was going to make a point, and it's gone. So it'll come back, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This guy paints the sex he allegedly has with aliens. From Vice.com.
Wow. Well.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. All images courtesy of Brad Abrams. I like how they put that right at the top. Like, saying fuck all to do with us. We're just reporting the facts. Okay.
Can I read the quote?
Losing your virginity is supposed to be memorable. Most people look back on the act with affection and probably a little embarrassment. But David Huggins says the first time he had sex was more out of this world than most.
Can I please do the quote?
You can.
When I was 17, I lost my virginity to a female extraterrestrial, the 74-year-old says in a documentary about him called Love and Saucers. That's all I can say about it.
Oh, fuck
I
up!
like to think he's from Yorkshire.
You cannot make a statement like that and then follow it up with, and that's all I can say about it.
You know, when I was 17, I became the world's most handsome man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was nominated for I was awarded it and everything, but that's all I can say about it. You never heard about it, that's all I can say though.
But how was it sort of voted for?
It just was.
Oh, okay.
There you go, that's all I can say about it.
Wow. It must be true then.
Obviously it is. I wrote a book about it.
Oh, these people, they're so mentally unwell. Will someone just give these people some attention? He's 74, he's alone.
He's having sex with aliens.
Fucking
allegedly.
hell. But can you imagine if they're not lying? You know, because this isn't the first time we've heard this sort of thing.
No.
Well, if it's true, why aren't the aliens fucking us?
Yeah, where's the beautiful green women coming to me in the middle of the night?
Well, he didn't say she was beautiful. That's probably why he's like, that's all I can say about that, because she looked like a slug with 6 arms.
What if it's a grey? What if it's a female grey?
They've got no genitalia. Did you fuck a grey's nose hole, you dirty old bastard?
They've got a mouth.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Why did I go straight to nose? They've got mouths. Oh no.
Ears, I presume.
I don't know, do greys have ears?
Yeah, probably.
Ear holes maybe,
Yeah.
not earlobes.
Ear holes, I'd imagine.
Yeah. This guy.
Yeah, this guy.
And it's amazing that, you know, they get mainstream international press. Like, shall I just make... Okay, here's a test.
Let's do it. I was just thinking
Let's
the same
make
thing.
something like this up, and then they can say, Gareth, who is a van driver and also has a podcast called Cutting Through the Bull in the Post Through the Apocalypse. Boom! National exposure. Everyone thinks I think I fucked an alien, but...
You're
Hey.
an artist, you could draw something like
I'll
that.
do an artist's impression of my cock in an alien's mouth. Have you got a very large piece of paper?
What, for her mouth or?
I'm just really crap at drawing.
Yeah, so there we go.
I'm gonna get off the fence on this one, and this might be controversial, but I don't believe him. Mr. Higgins, no, what's his name? Abrahams.
Huggins. Mr. Huggins.
Oh yeah, David Huggins.
Yeah.
Well, check out the documentary, Love and Saucers. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's going to be fantastic. It should be called Love and Saucers, an insight into mental health issues in the elderly. Because Jesus Christ.
Well, I for one believe him.
You're just hoping to get some alien poontang.
Yeah.
That's what you're hoping for.
But you believe the woman who fucked the ghost, didn't you?
Only because I want ghost
you want to
sex.
fuck the ghost.
Right.
I'll literally take anything at this point.
Right. Just try and find a human female,
There's
alright?
humanoid, anything that's humanoid, I'll take.
What about slime or tentacles?
Nah, not really into that, no.
Tentacles?
No.
Not a big fan.
He's not a fucking Japanese businessman. I like tentacle porn and they use panties from the vending machine. That's a real thing.
It is. We had a friend who used to sell her panties to China.
I know somebody who did that, not to China, but she used to make...
Japan, not China.
At the end of every day, would take her underwear off and mail them off to this dude who she met on the internet, and he would put a significant amount of money. She didn't work, let's put it that way. Fantastic. I wish there's got to be an old homosexual out there who would love the smell of a van driver's pants.
Probably not.
Inbox me if anybody. I could do with some extra income.
That also goes for me. I will sell my boxers.
We need to fund the podcast somehow.
Exactly. This is what we've resorted to.
Yeah,
selling our pants.
We got overheads, man. Don't put my pants over your head. And that was rubbish. Right, come on.
That's it for weird news.
That it?
Yeah.
That's the weird news.
So let's take a break a moment then.
Yeah.
I need to empty my bladder.
Same here.
And we're back, and that will seem seamless.
Seamless.
So propaganda. I'm going to start with a quote from a favourite celebrity of mine.
Hitler?
No, Mike. Quite the opposite, actually. Ain't nothing proper about your propaganda. Zach De La Rocha, GCSE.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
I've got the whole lyrics if someone wants to go through them.
Oh, go on then.
If who's got the best Zach De La Rocha impression?
I don't do an impression, but should we just read them out? Shall I read it like a poem?
Yeah, man.
Yes, do it in a soothing way. So this is from the song
Fuck.
"Bullet in the Head."
So I'll tell you a joke while we're waiting for the technical issues. Why did the little girl fall off the swing?
Go on.
She had no arms. So, I didn't write it. Don't judge me. This is the internet, the last bastion of free speech, which is being taken away as we speak. That should be an episode because it's something I don't understand. What is going on with all this demonetization of YouTube? And, there we go.
I've got him up, Mike. You okay?
Okay.
So, to start off our fake news episode and a bit of propaganda discussion. So, who wrote this again? What's the
Rage
scene
Against
called?
Machine.
So, this time the bullet cold rocked you. A yellow ribbon instead of a swastika. Nothing proper about your propaganda. Fools follow rules when the set commands you. Said it was blue when your blood was red. That's how you got a bullet blasted through your head. Blasted through your head. Blasted through your head.
Oh, man.
I give a shout out to the living dead who stood and watched as the feds cold centralized. So serene on the screen you were mesmerized. Cellular phones sounding a death tone. Corporations cold turn you to stone before you realize. They load the clip in omnicolor. Said they pack the 9, they fire it at prime time. Sleeping gas, every home was like Alcatraz. And motherfuckers lost their minds. Just victims of the in-house drive-by. They say jump, you say how high? Just victims of the in-house drive-by. They say jump, you say how high? No escape from the mass mind rape. Play it again, Jack, and then rewind the tape. And then play it again and again and again until your mind is locked in. Believing all the lies that they're telling you. Buying all the products that they're selling you. They say jump and you say how high. You're brain dead. You got a fucking bullet in your head. Which is basically a repeat to fade, more or less. Yeah, I agree with what he's saying there.
Absolutely. And I'll give you the very definition of propaganda, which is propaganda is information that is not objective and is used to primarily influence an audience to further an agenda.
Yep. I've got a quote from Hitler.
Oh,
Hey!
your favourite personality.
My favourite personality. If you tell a big enough lie and tell it frequently enough, it will be believed.
Very true.
So of course, it uses loaded language as well as outright lies to produce. The key is you get an emotional response. I mean, as we can see in the obviously in Britain, we had a lot of the Islamic sex gangs that are apparently going on literally everywhere under our noses that no one ever seemed to see, but was going on nonetheless. But you put that in the paper, Well, it gets an emotional response, doesn't it?
Now that is quite pertinent to us at this podcast, as part of the name of our podcast is the post-truth apocalypse, and that's what the post-truth apocalypse is, isn't it? Where they no longer have to deal in fact, they deal in emotions.
Yeah. Shall I tell you when the post-truth word was coined first?
Sure.
I can find it.
Hey.
It's a good job this isn't live.
We're a bit technically inept today, but still amazing, and you love us, so. Well, apart from that one guy.
It's a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
That's my excuse. Wednesday night. I'm only in the zone on a Sunday. I'm off work.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
All week?
Yeah, it's
Bastard.
great. I'm on nights this week. It's fucking awesome.
So your days are...
Days are filled with wanton ejaculation.
Right. I've got it.
What was your quote, Mike?
We, as a free people, have freely decided that we want to live in some post-truth world. Steve Tessick, 1992.
Wow.
Apparently, according to the Oxford Dictionary, that was the first use of the word post-truth.
Wow. Because it's we think of it as a fairly something that's come up in the last few years.
Yeah.
So definitely the first time I heard it. Well, when we started this podcast, I asked you, didn't I? I remember because I'd heard the phrase, what does post-truth mean? When we first met up at that pub, we talked about it.
Yeah. That's how we all started this podcast. We met up in a pub and got drunk.
Yeah, we discussed, shall we do a podcast? And after an hour of being drunk, so yeah, post-truth, 1992. But isn't that terrifying, the idea, like, I do give a good example, the Muslim, anything to do with Islam in the West is just an emotional response, isn't it? It's nothing to do with truth. But I had this argument with my girlfriend the other night. We watched a documentary about the Jamie Bulger murderers.
Oh, because the one's just been rearrested, hasn't he, for possessing child pornography?
Yeah, and we disagreed heavily, but I don't think I was seeing her point, and I don't think she was seeing my point. But and I didn't know this element of the story. It showed at the time, what was his name? He was a conservative politician who they used to call like the vampire Dracula.
It wasn't
Michael Howard.
That's it. Yeah.
Right. He, while the trial was happening, weighed in and sort of overruled the judge and tried to double their sentence, which was ruled unlawful. The judge had already made his judgment, as is his job.
And like pro wrestling, the referee's decision is final.
It's final, right. But Mr. Politician Man, whose name I've already forgotten, Howard, was in the midst of trying to get elected. And my point to Leona was he's using this horrific incident as a political football to get vote. He doesn't care about Jamie, or maybe he does, but you know what I mean? I'm like, this is opportunism.
Probably not, he's a reptilian, so...
Yeah, well, there you go, but... And she was more along the lines of, no, he's right, they should never have been let out, double the sentence. I'm like, I get that, but can you get that he is using this emotion and the because people were in the streets wanting...
Really? I mean, we never had this before in modern Britain, that particular murder.
Oh, to anyone, I imagine most people listening would know, but to anyone who doesn't, it was a case in the early 90s where two 10-year-old boys kidnapped a toddler who was 2 or 3 years old and did horrific things to him, murdered him,
tortured him,
murdered him, and public feeling at the time. I was seeing footage in that documentary that I'd forgotten about because I was young. I would have been 10 at the time, or 11. Crowds of people in the streets. You know, when the police van leaves there, and men were getting through the police barricade and trying to get in the van and smash in the van, and people wanted to rip those two 10-year-old boys to pieces, understandably. And then Mr. Politician comes in and goes,
pours fuel on the fire.
Yeah, I think we should double this sentence. And then in the end, the judge told him that was unlawful. Fuck off. I'll do my job. You fucking do yours.
But I'll guarantee you that papers like The Sun...
Oh, they were whipping it up.
Would have been whipping it up in a frenzy because that's public opinion. If public opinion is so badly against that, we're going to whip this up and say that he's done this and he's done that and he tortures animals as well.
But look
before you know it.
Look what's happened to that kid now.
Yeah.
The one who did the murder. I mean, I'm not saying it's right to do it or whatever. But, I mean, he's gone through the judicial system at a young age. He's come out. He's had to get a new identity, hasn't he?
They were both given new identities, yeah.
Complete protection.
And now he's into child porn and...
Yeah. And, see, my girlfriend was saying... now, this is the problem. There was an emotional response because they were two 10-year-old boys who did something so horrible. She was saying, they should never have been let out. And I said, yeah, but if they'd have committed it as adults, they would have been let out at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's no different. It's because you're having an emotional response to the horror of what's happened, and they fucking played it.
We have to look at it a different way. We have to look at it as society failed them 2 10-year-old boys.
Yeah.
Because nothing happens in isolation. You're not born evil.
No.
You do have the McDonald tryout.
What's that saying? It's a bit hippie, but I do think there's some truth to it. It takes a village to raise a child, not one man or something like that.
That's it. You have to look at the society that we're in. I mean, the USA have got a president like Donald Trump. It's a symptom of the fucking disease, isn't it?
Definitely, and it all feeds into the same thing. It's all, like we said, post-truth, dealing in emotions, not factual information. So it was just timely that I watched that, and it was just interesting that me and my girlfriend were seeing it from two. I think she was having a mother's emotional.
Mother's eyes,
she was thinking of her own children.
Yeah.
If somebody did that to my, and I'm like, I totally get that, but I'm coming from it. Can't you see what that arsehole politician is doing?
Yeah.
Which is what we're discussing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you a more recent example than that, and especially with we touched on anything with Islam in it. Is our mayor of London is Sadiq Khan.
Okay.
And when he was invested as mayor of London, he swore his oath on the Quran. The Quran he bought because they didn't have one. He was the first Muslim mayor of London, and no one apparently seems to give. Oh shit! Yeah, we haven't got a Quran. So he says, no problem. I'll bring one in.
Yeah.
He swears his oath on that, and he said, and the guy goes to give it him back, and he says, no, you keep it. He goes, in the sort of, hey, I'll make the first Muslim mayor.
First of many.
Hopefully there'll be more, maybe there'll be more, who knows? But if there's another one, you got a Quran. That was spun by the far right, your Britain First.
Right.
And Britain First, do we call them alt-right or far right? They are just numpties.
They're not the alt, they're far right.
Yeah. To be, it's all mayors of London, regardless of religion, no one must swear on this Quran. And the thing is, do you think a lot of the time you've just got to be a fucking idiot to believe it?
Yes. Would those Britain First people prefer that he swore on a book he didn't fucking believe in, and therefore wasn't really swearing?
The I think it's the California member of Senate or whatever, or what they have, the Senate and the Assembly and
The House.
Right.
Swore his oath on a Captain America shield. Because he said that I'm an atheist, so I don't see the point in swearing on a Bible. I will swear on something that should be the values of this country. And Captain America, for all his, unless he's the Hydra Captain America, is he is about being the best you can be, isn't he? So I can see his point. I like that. I'd swear I wouldn't swear on the Bible.
It's meaningless if you don't. Okay,
probably.
I'll follow the tradition for the sake of it. Let's say if I was in court or something like that, but it's utterly meaningless as I don't hold any importance in that book. So it would be more if you put a Hulk Hogan action figure down. It would be much more. I don't want to curse him, so I better. I would tell the truth then if you made me swear on it.
Yeah.
So they spun. So he's actually doing quite a decent, anyone in their right mind would think you can see what's happening there. He's the first one, so obviously they haven't got a Quran.
But no one gives it a thought, to be fair. It's one of the things because it's overlooked, isn't it?
Give it back. Okay, I'll take it back, but then am I not saying I'm the first and last? He'd like to be a little bit hopeful that I'd like to think
maybe
I
there'll
won't
be
be
another.
the last.
Yeah.
And
I mean, so if there was a Jewish mayor of London, would he might bring along his own copy of the Torah and swear on that, and or some scrolls. I don't know how it works. But either way, so yeah, any religion. It could be any religion. It's just the fact that he was a follower of Islam, and therefore, in the eyes of the far right, practically the devil incarnate.
how's he doing, old Sadiq? I don't really follow.
No, I know he come for a bit of flack off Trump. Him and Trump had a few words actually.
They did, yeah.
Fantastic.
Because he made a comment about the terrorist attacks are part and parcel of living in a big city. I see his point exactly, because as long as you've got a system that creates terrorism, you're going to have terrorist attacks.
That's it. Well, especially if you're a Western. If you're England or America, basically, it's quite.
If you're bombing the shit of the Middle East, you're probably going to have a terror attack on your doorstep.
That's the point. That's what I was getting to.
Yeah, they don't have terrorist bombs attacks in Switzerland, do they?
No, funnily enough.
No,
they
it's
don't.
in France, Britain, and United States.
Yeah.
the countries
Oh,
that
Germany
are
as
bombing.
well.
Yeah,
Germany,
the
of
countries
course.
that are bombing the Middle East.
Most stuff over
Strange
there.
that, isn't it? I wonder
funny.
where that is, guys.
Yeah.
I can't see a link. Can you?
I can't work it out.
No,
I
it's
don't
puzzling
know.
me.
No, do you know what it is, Mike? They hate our ideology.
Oh,
That's
that's
it.
what
They hate
our-
democracy.
They hate our way of life, and
Yeah.
they want your way of
That's
life
it.
To be
be
their way
over.
of life.
They're
Yeah.
not pissed off because their entire family was murdered with a drone.
No,
No,
no.
Come
they,
out, no.
they want my
Thought
mother,
so.
my dear old mother, to have to follow Sharia law.
Wear a burqa.
Yeah, that's what, and that feasibly could happen in the next 5 years.
No,
Yeah. They
yeah.
got Muslimic ray guns, haven't they? That's a genuine quote.
I've never heard that.
That's a genuine quote from some Britain First guy. They were interviewing him at this demonstration, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they got them Muslimic ray guns, haven't they?"
Ray guns that turn you Muslim.
Yeah.
So I get shot with this laser, and somehow
You grow a beard.
It changes the neurons in my mind to rearrange that I suddenly have a complete understanding of whatever language the Quran is written in.
Oh, they write in other languages nowadays.
Get with the
mate.
news, guys.
Oh my god.
You also instantly grow a beard and start wearing a white gown and a little hat. I'm not knocking the dress. I'm just describing it in very simple terms.
Oh man.
Yeah. But propaganda. Would you like to know the first recorded incident of propaganda is in human history? It's always been around. It's back as reliable recorded history exists.
Okay.
It is 515 BC. It's called the Behistun inscription, and it details the glorious rise of Darius I to the Persian throne.
Okay.
If you've seen 300, you'll know a little bit about the Persian Empire. They had a few kings. They were a big empire. I think he was pretty much the guy that kind of kicked it off into its expansion. So obviously it would paint him in a really favourable light, and that's the first look. Then you can go to the Romans. They had a civil war after Caesar was assassinated on over who should take over as his heir.
Okay.
And there was Octavian, who was technically his heir, adopted. I think he was his some relative anyway. And then you had Mark Antony, who was basically his mate. And they blamed each other for the civil war and citing each other's degrading cruelty and cowardly behaviour. So they would be like they were slagging each other off to their respective followers to try and build up that basis, and probably in their various senates at the time.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed really. Our most famous piece of propaganda in Britain, I would argue, and I don't know if anyone else give any thought to this, would be the 1914 "Your Country Needs You" poster with Kitchener pointing at you with his fine moustache.
Is that who that dude is?
Yeah, he was the Secretary of War. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Can you have? Is there positive propaganda?
Not with our governments.
Well, what's popped into my head is that when you mentioned that, thinking of old posters. Do you know those where that "keep calm" and "carry on" comes from? They were apparently they're official posters that were made by the government in preparation for if we were invaded.
They
by
were
the
never
Nazis.
used, were they?
No, but they were ready to go if we were occupied.
Yeah.
We would put these up, and is that positive propaganda?
That's
Yes, I guess it is.
I
Yeah.
suppose it is. Another positive piece of propaganda from that time actually was that every person in the country, should we be invaded by the Germans, would get a ration of 10 cigarettes a day.
Fantastic.
They were seen as ultimately important in morale, so they stockpiled billions of cigarettes
fantastic
around the country.
And as we're three smokers here, I think we could all.
Now they just stockpile them in customs when they take them on people.
Yeah, I would say that poster is our most effective piece of propaganda. Certainly the most one that sticks in your head. If you look at British history, if you typed in British history in an images search in Google, I guarantee you that'll pop up near the top.
Yeah. Oh, it's unrelated but related just because you mentioned Google. I don't know who's doing it or how the algorithm works, but if you type "white couple" into Google Images, all you get is like mixed race couples, and then like there's some heavy trolling because it's like gay couples with a black baby, and like it's just the absolute I don't know who would be googling white couples.
What's the racist, Gaz? What's the racist?
And if you Google historical Europeans, you just get lots of really old pictures of black guys in really old clothing. Which I think is fantastic.
Enough, that's kind of true, because they've recently done a thing. They found that there's a guy, the oldest skeleton to have lived in Britain was recovered. The Cheddar Man, they found him in a cave. He's pretty much well preserved. And they've recently got his DNA out, and it turns out that the earliest Britons were black with blue eyes and
Yeah, I
curly
saw
hair.
that. And their faces looked a little bit like the old English actor Jimmy Nail. Remember him?
Jimmy Nail putting the
Crocodile
cunt
Shoes.
back into
Crocodile
putting the cunt back into country and western.
With my crocodile shoes. I had that
Get in the
single.
fucking reggae.
I did, and I just admitted it.
Yes, get in the fucking reggae box.
My crocodile shoes were crying too.
No doubt with a face like Jimmy Nail's they would be.
How did he ever become a leading man?
I don't know. Auf Wiedersehen, pet, that's what I blame.
Oh, I did see a good meme about that. It was something like I was. How do you say it?
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen, pet. Was it a group of plucky young lads who were in a foreign country just trying to earn some money to pay for their rent and stuff? Or were they a bunch of evil, scrounging immigrant bastards? Right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
No,
it, yeah.
they were the lads, weren't they?
Yeah.
Away the lads.
It's like all those Brits who retired to Spain and live in their little British enclaves in Spanish villages with Union Jacks everywhere and English pubs and Sunday roasts in 5-degree heat. And speaking English, refusing to learn the language. No, they're expats. They're all right.
Yeah.
You know, double standards.
Of
Double
course.
standards.
Oh man.
But anyone think of anything more iconic for British propaganda than that, or?
Well, I guess that.
Sorry.
Because that poster had to do. It had
Its
a pretty
job, and it
important
did
job
its
to
job.
do, didn't it?
It did do its job tremendously well. I mean,
I got one piece of propaganda that did stick in my mind.
Okay.
Anyone remember that one? 45 minutes of attack.
yeah.
Dossier reveals Saddam is ready to launch chemical war strikes. 45 minutes.
In 45 minutes.
Yeah.
WMDs. Remember, where are the bombs, Tony? Where are the bombs?
Saint Tony.
Oh, sorry.
St. Tony, Middle East peace and
Set the fucking region on fire.
It's fucking. You couldn't make that shit up, could you?
That's like fucking making Alex Jones the poet laureate or something.
He was also made patron of Save the Children.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And GQ's Philanthropist of the Year.
Philanthropist of the Year. Which is,
I think he should have been.
If that isn't propaganda, what the fuck is?
Oh my god! Patron of the white Western children. Let's
Yeah.
put a little
Oh,
caveat in there, shall we, Saint Tony? You fucking blew
Save
up a lot
the
of little-
children.
Fuck
I'm
me.
pretty sure it was something like 1 million children died in the invasion
Oh,
of Iraq and
yes.
its post-subsequent invasion of
Oh,
post-invasion.
And
Right.
they used depleted uranium gas in the weapons.
Oh,
Don't
yes.
talk about depleted uranium.
And
Mike. I've
now the
held
kids
that.
have been born with deformities.
Well, who the fucking thunk
You know what I
it?
mean? It's fucking
Yeah,
sick.
I've held that shit. I've held depleted uranium.
Well, you're a
shells.
Jaffa then.
I put one to my crotch and said, "Hey!"
Oh, that'll be a future
I
armour.
bet you-
He goes, sprays himself with the ray gun. He goes, "Oh, that hurts." And he sprays himself again. He goes,
You know, it was a standard joke. Who doesn't love Mr. Tank Show Dick?
"Oh dear God."
I bet it seemed so funny at the time.
It
didn't
did.
it,
It was hilarious. Not now.
Was it? You'll be able to read your book in bed by the light from your fucking luminous yellow cock.
Well, it does come in handy. Never short of a night light in my house.
When your missus is in line in the dark, you go in the room and go, vroom, vroom.
I would be selling myself short if I didn't.
It's an elegant weapon for a more civilized time.
I named it Dr. Feelgood. That's a true story.
Yeah. Well, apparently it was 15 years ago this week.
Wow.
Colin Powell.
There's a name I haven't heard for.
Yeah. And notice that they put the black guy out.
Yeah, but why does he call himself?
They did. They wheeled it. They couldn't put Bush or Cheney out, could they?
Well, no, mainly because
No.
Cheney was too busy feasting on children's hearts.
And Bush was drawing pictures of it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly drawing pictures. I make no apologies to Cheney.
Okay, so it was 15 years ago this week. Holy Christ.
Can someone explain to me why he always goes as Colin and not just Colin?
Because he's a wanker. He's one of them, isn't he?
Colin, I immediately think colon.
Oh,
And it's always puzzled me.
Yeah,
it's like, why aren't you just Colin Powell?
Do you
Good
think-
old Colin Powell?
Do you think his parents... Because Colin's, I think that's quite a British name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Colin. He was called Colin, but then in America they just don't know that. Colin? Colin, obviously. Colin. Love you, America.
Yeah, you're
especially
great.
San Francisco.
Yeah,
Especially you guys, we love you.
Oh yeah, definitely. 15 years ago this week, he spoke at the United Nations to sell preemptive war with Iraq.
That saying to me, preemptive war is
Yeah.
wars aren't preemptive, are they? They just shit happens,
Yeah,
doesn't
but
it? And you're like,
preemptive
hey,
strike.
They're trying to get out of the fact that they're
yeah.
the aggressor. They're saying we have to act because they're going to.
Yeah.
That's
They're
the
45
con.
minutes away from a nuclear
Yeah.
biological attack. They can take us all out.
It's in the headline papers, Gaz. 45 minutes. We're going to get chemical weaponed.
I was so stupid at the time. Why didn't I think? Is it the Star Wars program designed to shoot that shit down?
Oh yeah, like all those missiles that North Korea are shooting. Yeah, that Star Wars defense program that cost like $80 billion or trillions of dollars probably now in the long run.
Yeah, but that Saddam, he was tricky, wasn't he? Yeah.
He said, we confront a regime that harbours ambitions for regional domination, hides weapons of mass destruction, and provides haven and active support for terrorists. We are not confronting the past, we are confronting the present. And unless we act, we are confronting an even more frightening future.
Can I just say that,
Terrorism around the world
they're on
has
about-
spiked since 9/11.
Jeez.
They're on about a regime that harbours ambitions for regional domination and hides weapons of mass destruction. Israel have never said they've got nuclear weapons, have they?
Well, the USA,
But they
regional
have.
domination.
I know.
The CIA subverted Guatemala and all them countries, El Salvador,
I like the line,
Panama.
hides weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, it hid them really fucking well,
Yeah.
didn't it? Because you never fucking found them. And the
Hans
good
Blix didn't find them.
And the good Dr. Kelly, remember Mr. Kelly, the guy
Yeah.
who said, "No, I don't." Well, he was
Is it David Kelly? Dr.
David?
I
David
think it was, yeah.
David Kelly?
who.
He said, he came out, didn't he, and said that there are no.
Well, he was.
Yeah,
He
they
was
haven't
part
got the
of.
capability.
They employed him to do a study, didn't they? And
Yeah.
his answers came back. No, I don't think they've got them. I'm simplifying, obviously, and then they're like, I don't know. That's not really the answer we want. And he was found with his wrist slit in the
woods.
In the woods,
In the
yeah. And he
park,
wasn't
yeah.
a jogger either, apparently.
No, but the thing is, I mean, First Gulf War, there was 100 days of air war in the First Gulf War before there was anything Saddam had was literally just blasted back to the Stone Age, and even the Russians were helping out, saying, "Oh yeah, well we sold the stuff to the you've got." The intelligence gathering that went on was immense, and anything that could have been a chemical weapons factory was blown apart. And Kelly basically said that, no, whatever capability he had, he's never been able to get it back. Because
he
no
did
one's
do-
going to sell stuff to Iraq that could be made into chemical weapons.
Yeah.
Because he did do some forgive my ignorance, listener, but that's why we do this, so we can all learn together. Saddam did use chemical weapons on the Kurds, didn't
And
he?
Apparently.
Iran.
But was that a false flag? That may have been a false flag.
Let's assume for the moment that it's real.
Yeah.
And in the Iran-Iraq war, he used chemical
Yeah.
weapons. So he showed he would do it. But it also has to be pointed out that all the people in charge of his armed forces were his family members, and they were thick as pig shit too, which is probably why their war with Iran didn't go down so well. Didn't go so well for them.
And I think what's crazy about, well, all of it's crazy, but say that this was 15 years ago,
This week.
this week, we're still out there, aren't we?
Well,
Maybe not Iraq.
Yeah. We are in Iraq,
We're
yeah.
in
Well,
Iraq,
with the
aren't we? And
Brits,
Afghanistan.
the Brits aren't. We're not in Iraq anymore. Unless we've got training missions. down
Syria
there.
now.
Syria, we've moved to there.
Well, we've probably got special forces.
We're still in Afghanistan, aren't we?
Still in Afghanistan.
Training teams only now, I think.
The Americans are in Niger now. Somalia.
Been in Somalia for years.
Yeah. There's been a few others.
I've
So
seen Black
basically,
Hawk Down,
I think
and
it's
that goes.
8 more conflicts now since this happened.
The Forever War, they call it.
Well,
don't
it
they?
is, yeah.
War on terror. It'll never end, will it?
And then, of course, we go to
No.
the fact that
Because you're fighting a concept.
Yeah, exactly.
well, the only way to win a war on terror is surely to kill every single terrorist, isn't it? That's the only way. But you're never going to do that.
No, because you always make more.
You make more by killing them.
Yeah.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And
Yeah.
some would argue that America are the biggest terrorists in the world.
Oh, of course they would.
Some would. We love you, America.
We love you. And
San Francisco, we love you.
at this point now, it's not conspiracy theory, is it? because I'm just your average fucking muggle, and I know some of these things. It's not conspiracy theory to know that our armies that go to these countries are getting things, oil, minerals, that benefit.
Not us, but
they benefit
British
commerce and corporations and capitalism and making shit to sell.
Yeah, Smedley Butler.
So.
Major General
Smedley Butler.
That's right. He was in the Spanish-American War of the early 20th century, turn of the 20th century. Do you want me to say what he said?
Yeah, you know more than I do.
He said he won 2 Purple Hearts. He was a Legion of Honor, not a Legion of Honor, Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
He was no mug, and he said that war is a racket.
Yeah.
And he said he basically worked for companies like United Fruit.
Yeah, who overthrew Guatemala.
Yeah, basically turned it into a banana republic. Yeah,
That's where the phrase banana republic comes from, the fruit company.
Well, these countries in Central and Southern America, they would elect their own social leaders, and America didn't like that because they were saying to the companies that were in there, you know, get out, you're taking all the profits and resources from the country, and the poor are suffering. So the US subvertly put in their own puppets that work with these companies.
Well, that was kind of the point of the CIA, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Noriega, Panama,
to put in place leaders that they wanted. So my point is, it's not necessarily wild conspiracy theory to say that war has an ulterior motive, and it's not one that would be particularly popular with the general public if they were to really understand and know that.
No. Because
So
no one wants their son going off to war and potentially dying.
So
some bloke in an office in London can make a few more million for his portfolio on oil.
Well, I've got an article here called 42 Admitted False Flag Attacks.
Can I go through a little bit more history of propaganda before we jump to that?
Go on then.
We skipped ahead a little bit. I was still in the First World War.
Oh, okay then.
Erich Ludendorff, who was one of the German High Command marshals, said that British propaganda was instrumental in Germany's defeat because it broke German morale on home and western fronts. So I mean, they're literally dropping leaflets on the western front. They're seeing British morale on the British propaganda over the radios, things like that.
Can I just say something about leaflets and Iraq? Did you see that article where the US dropped leaflets to ISIS?
Oh yes,
telling them we were going to attack in a few days.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
I shit you not.
Why do we want them to know that we're...
Well, you there you go.
The thing is, like, ISIS had control of a lot of oil resources, and they were shipping it out, and that's how they were funding. That's how they were funding themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of it was probably going through Turkey.
A bit like Red Diesel.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of it was going through Turkey, and the Americans were probably taking their fair share, as well as I'd imagine most Western nations who had a fist in the Syria dogfight. And so we dropped them some leaflets to say, by the way, with that convoy going through, we've got planned a couple of days, don't let it be there.
Why? Because we didn't want to damage the oil?
Yeah. So we just basically bombed some empty ground.
See, I remember
of course, when you consider even iron bombs, dumb bombs, just bombs that drop out of a plane.
Well, you could also
cost
argue.
thousands of pounds.
What's that?
You
I
could
don't even
also
know
argue-
what they are, sorry. I didn't know that was a thing, so you drop a dummy bomb.
No, they're called dumb bombs.
Okay.
They're not laser guided. They're just you see the B-52s and they just drop a shit
Oh
load of bombs.
shit! So like your targeting is literally.
They're called like.
Maybe.
Well, you've got pretty sophisticated sites to do it, and it's all measured on windage, and you adjust accordingly.
And you could argue that the US are funding ISIS.
You could argue that. I mean, they did have all
They
them.
funded Al Qaeda against the Soviets.
The
Mujahideen. That morphed into Al Qaeda. That morphed into ISIS.
That's where they got all their equipment from, wasn't it? Us and the Russians.
Yeah.
Or well, the West and the Russians. I remember. I'm sure I've probably talked about this before on the podcast, but I remember what age I was, but it was around the time I was first became aware of conspiracies and David Icke and all that. In my naivety, and I mean, I must have been in my early 20s at this point. The thought that war makes money, I'd never thought of that. I'd never, as far as I knew, was war was for noble reasons. My granddads fought in the Second World War because Hitler was an evil twat, and I could understand that. It was simple. And then
you fought because you had to, didn't you?
Yeah, and once I heard, I don't remember where it came from, but the concept that war generates more money than anything else, I remember thinking, oh bollocks, it's not, because I wanted to believe the
the stuff was just made. There's all them
The
rifles,
propaganda, ironically.
all them rifles, all them tanks, all that equipment, all them airplanes. Are just made by the country, and but then you realise who makes it. And it's
I
not
think
the
Gaz is
country.
going on more about the sort of feeling, the sort of.
Oh no, but
I just couldn't get my head around the idea. I was thinking that's conspiracy.
Yeah.
Like the Illuminati,
Yeah.
or they go to war to make money. But then when it was broke down to be like,
We're the good guys.
No, companies,
Make
corporations make
my point.
a
Yeah.
shitload of money
Yeah.
from going to war. And once
Yeah.
that was explained to me in a way I could understand, it was quite horrific, to be honest, to think like, well, oh fuck. That's why Vietnam was dragged out for so long.
Of course.
And
they were never allowed to win it. The Americans probably could have won it if they'd have been allowed to win it. But the fact that they dragged the military could have won it. Sorry, if they'd have been allowed to, if they'd have been given enough stuff to do it,
right.
and use the right tactics. What they did was just basically prolong it.
Well, what they also did was the fact they had a tour of duty. So someone would get
You get a year out
become a
there.
veteran, and then you'd pull him out and put someone fresh in.
Yeah,
They didn't know what they were doing, so.
And they lost a lot of people. Well,
57,000.
they lost a lot more on the Vietnamese side, I know, but
Plus many more, probably, well, God knows how many more committed suicide after. I think got 3 million Vietnamese died in that.
And they bombed Cambodia and Laos as well.
Cambodia and Laos,
So-
yeah. But that was, of course, you got the Gulf of Tonkin, which is a false flag operation.
is that the one that started the Vietnam?
Pretty much started
Yeah.
American involvement in more Vietnam. Can we call a quick break?
Yeah, of course you can.
Could I do the slash?
Well, it's slash time.
Slash. We're back.
We are back. So, would you like a modern fake news story? Because well, we're talking about we're going through the history of propaganda to get to
Fake news.
which is the in the current zeitgeist. Greenpeace activist gets his arm bitten off after hugging shark.
You see, I kind of want that to be true.
I would like it to be true, but unfortunately not. And this is according to, once again, I'm trusting the website Snopes.com.
It's usually pretty reliable, Snopes.
I've got something. I've got an article on Snopes after you finished.
Woman sues Paris zoo after escaped hippo tries to rape her. Apparently that was fake. Did Donald Trump tell George Soros? Who's he?
Yeah, he's
Soros.
the sort of neoliberalist sort of philanthropist, isn't he?
Okay. Apparently Donald Trump told him to go to hell. Well, that's fake news.
Strange, you can almost imagine that one being real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tells most people to go to hell, doesn't he?
Another, just one last little fake one then for this section. There's loads of them that I can read out there. There's loads. A woman pretending to be a sex robot files for child support.
What is it with you and sex robots?
Well, I like sex and I like robots. Yeah, so that gives you a little range. They go from the... Some are so small and innocuous, like... did Justin Timberlake say mandatory vaccination schedules are un-American? Well, who gives a fuck if he did or he didn't?
Well, that's it.
But apparently that was a story that was out there that was fake. And then you've got the other extreme, sex robots wanting child support. And then you've got Donald Trump saying, I don't know, what's a famous stupid thing he said.
Global warming is a Chinese myth. Chinese lie. Everyone strings to mind straight away.
Oh my God. My understanding is China are quite important to us, aren't they? Is it important that we're okay with them?
They're the emerging economic power, aren't they?
Yeah.
Stop pissing them off, Trump.
No, because America first, mate.
Oh.
I've got an article here about Snopes.
Okay.
Facebook fact checker Snopes.com accused of defrauding website to pay for prostitutes. So even the watchdog that's meant to be looking for fake news is actually promoting fake news. One of the websites Facebook is to use to arbitrate on fake news is involved in a bitter legal dispute between its co-founders and its CEO accused of using company money for prostitutes.
Oh my God.
Well, it's only company money. I mean, it's just they're not doing anything wrong. It's just, the CEO's getting blown.
As long as it's not public money. But this is the
The
thing.
website's own troubles and the intriguing choice of who carries out its fact checks are revealed by DailyMail.com.
Oh, there we go.
As one of its main contributors is disclosed to be a former sex blogger who calls herself Vice Vixen.
So,
that's so Daily
they
Mail.
are desperately clutching at straws to discredit a site that has probably discredited them, the Daily Mail, on numerous occasions. And as we've discussed before on this site, a phenomenon we've noticed is that these, what were formerly quote unquote reputable mainstream papers, are now carrying any old conspiracy story. A lot of the stories we read in the weird news come from these quote unquote reputable places, because they'll do anything for a click now.
Yeah. So basically, they're pissed off with Snopes. So they release an article slagging Snopes.
And the best that they can find is people at this very successful website which makes loads of money are spending some of the spoils on fucking hookers. Whoa!
Oh,
wow! Hold the front page.
I seem to recall one of the Daily Mail owners was wasn't he captured in a brothel in Nazi uniform being whipped?
It does ring a bell.
Yeah,
allegedly.
something like that. Yeah. Also, should be worth pointing out that the Daily Mail is not even considered a credible source by Wikipedia anymore.
Oh, really?
So if you're not a credible source on Wikipedia, it's fair to say that you're not much of a source.
Literally anyone can update Wikipedia.
But if you put a Daily Mail source in, they will remove it.
But that's the thing, though. On a serious note, though, I hate the Daily Mail, but the quote from the Watchman, who watches the Watchman?
Yeah.
Someone should be watching Snopes as well.
Oh yeah.
And all these other sites that claim to.
Not the people the Snopes have spent slagging off the last couple of years.
No, that's where this story falls down. And I do also think that they got it. Facebook is responsible for a lot of morons becoming politicised who wouldn't normally become politicised. And are they aware of what percentage that they're reading is utterly fake?
They're not aware.
That's probably
not on my friends list, I can tell you that much. Certainly 95% of them certainly aren't.
And the worst is, I thought I'd weeded out sort of the less desirable, because when I first got Facebook, I added everyone I knew from school, everyone who popped. Oh yeah, we were in the same school. We weren't friends, but we were in the same school. Then as the years went on, I realised, no, this really should be for my close.
Yeah, people I actually see now and again.
Yeah, someone who, if I saw them in the street, I would, hey.
Apparently, this Snopes thing is his new girlfriend that is doing the checking.
Yeah.
And apparently, she sits home smoking pot all day doing the checking.
Oh wow, yeah. And she's in touch with the dom side. Yeah. Wow, there you go.
What's your domineering side?
A female dominant is a dom, a D-O-M-M-A.
Oh, okay.
She used to be a porn actress.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that. But the fact that she's the one that sat there smoking pot all day, deciding what's true or not.
Yeah, but
to be fair though,
that's the accusation, isn't it? It's whether to believe it or not. I'm not going to go into the
whole. Yeah, but
whole.
alright, let me put it another way. If Snopes gave you a job of fact checking stuff where you work from home, get paid a reasonable amount of money.
Of course I would.
Exactly. And would you sit here smoking pot, fact checking stuff? Well, there you go. So what's
but then people go to Snopes to check if news is real or fake.
Yeah, but who's to say that she's not doing her job? She's just having a job.
I mean, she's not pissed, is she? I'd think that
she's not wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat.
I think that if the decisions rest on this woman's shoulders, is an ex-prostitute with a drug habit.
Well, yeah, but you know.
Hey, she's lived a bit. She's got a bit of life experience.
It's not the kind of rigorous fact-checking I would assume.
Yeah, but how do you know she's not quite smart? I mean, she's smart enough. She's smart enough to coax men at their money for just having a bit of sex.
I'd rigorously check her facts. Allegedly.
Anyway, I just thought it was interesting.
It is. I can't believe that. That's
Fake
hilarious.
news,
so the purveyors of truth and justice are also full of shit, apparently, according to. But like I said, who watches the Watchman? He is right to question Snopes.
That article brought to you by our sponsors, Candy's Massage Parlour.
£60 for half an hour, allegedly. Tell them I sent you.
I get a discount on my next go. Can I give you a quote from our favourite Nazi cross-dressing cocaine addict?
Hey, come on
Mr.
then.
Goering.
Come on, Goering.
Back in the day.
Yeah, man.
Old Herring.
Herman the German. Naturally, the common people don't want war, neither in Russia, America, nor in America, nor for that matter in Germany. But after all, it's the leaders of the country who determine the policy, and it is always a simple matter to drag the people along, whether it's democracy or a fascist dictatorship, or a parliament or a communist dictatorship. The people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. That is easy. All you have to do is tell them they're being attacked and denounce the pacifists for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger. It works the same way in any country.
Yeah, false flag.
And you're like, shit, he's absolutely fucking right.
Yeah.
Should we go to false flags now then?
Yeah, let's do some false flags.
So these are actually
These are admitted
Proven.
proven with evidence. They got links to the. It's on WashingtonBlog.com. I found it, and they put all the links to the evidence.
because this, just before we get into it, sorry,
Yeah.
on false flags, this is one of the things that really annoys me. Where if you suggest something might have been a false flag, you're a tinfoil hat wearing fucking idiot. But
Especially on a train on Saturday night.
Hey.
Well, drunk as fuck.
But there's precedent. There is precedent for this because it's a real thing.
I've got an update for you on the Las Vegas shooting. Actually, I know you.
Something's been released today.
They wouldn't
hasn't
release his autopsy.
Wouldn't they?
No. Haven't released his autopsy. They won't release it for some reason. I don't know why. I saw the headline and I thought, I know Gaz was
I heard
ranting on a train about that, so I'll bear that in mind.
Well, one of the theories I've heard is that one of the drugs he may have been on, because he was on psychotic medication, maybe somebody has a vested interest in that information not being out there, like a huge...
You mean like the drug's obviously not working?
Well, yeah, and or a particular combination causes even more psychotic events, such as mass murder from a hotel room. I don't know. I was about to say, we'll find out one day. Will we?
Maybe.
No.
Allegedly.
2 shooters.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, Mike, sorry, we had about 10
Yes,
minutes.
the guys were saying about we got precedent in these false flag attacks. We've mentioned 2.
Yep.
WMD and the Gulf of Tonkin.
Yep.
Yeah, in 1931, the Manchurian incident.
I'm not the candidate.
The Japanese troops set off a small explosion on a train track in 1931 and falsely blamed it on China in order to justify an invasion of Manchuria.
Wow.
A major with the Nazi SS admitted at the Nuremberg trials that under orders from the chief of the Gestapo, he and some other Nazi operatives faked attacks on their own people and resources which they blamed on the Poles to justify the invasion of Poland.
No, that's true, yeah. They basically shot up their own border post, left some bodies, concentration camp,
Oh no. But
internments in Polish uniform.
They had a big supply of bodies, didn't they?
Yeah, and then shot them and left the bodies in Polish uniform and said, it was a Poles, it was a Polish, they attacked our...
Didn't Hitler set one of his own things on?
Yeah, that's the
that'll
next
come
one.
up. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, here we go.
Nazi General Franz Halder also testified at the Nuremberg trials that Nazi leader Hermann Göring admitted to setting fire to the German Parliament building in 1933.
Not the Reichstag!
Yeah, falsely blaming the communists for the arson.
I've been to the Reichstag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It's alright.
Is it in Berlin? Berlin?
It is, yeah.
I'd love to go to Berlin.
It's a strange city because it's very much still living in 2 worlds.
I bet, yeah.
I heard
You literally, I mean, you go to Checkpoint Charlie, which is where the tourists go, and you literally stand there and you turn around and you see the West. Bright lights, high-rise buildings, you know, advertising, nice cars, and then you turn around again and everything's grey and square and concrete.
Yeah.
And right, there's bits of wall left. The cars are there. I know if you'd done that in the 80s, you'd have seen Trabants and Ladas everywhere. And it's nuts. I mean, there's still bits of Berlin Wall up. When I went, they'd recently uncovered a secret SS barracks in the middle of the city.
wow.
It was nuts. It's a city very much still in 2 worlds, and there's still bullet holes in buildings. You get the Brandenburg Gate, which was cut off for years, but it was no man's land between the walls. It's riddled with bullet holes. There's still Soviet war memorials, which ironically all the tanks get painted pink at least once a month. Because they paint them back again, and the same people go out to spray them pink again.
Because I have heard that Berlin has
beautiful
got
city,
an amazing sort of art scene and nightlife, and like it's a party city. But like I guess you're saying, yeah, bits of it are, but there's still it's in the remnants.
The middle of it is. I mean, they're still rebuilding it.
Yeah.
When I went, I was in college. That's what 2000.
Yeah.
They're still rebuilding it, and I thought, Grandad did a really fucking good job here, didn't he? Still rebuilding it now. Wow. But yeah, it's a beautiful city though, great city. Is it? Shows how many German listeners we've got.
Yeah. I'm sure we've had at least one.
There's bound to be. Okay, Mike, sorry.
Yeah, Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev admitted in writing that the Soviet Union's Red Army shelled the Russian village of Manila in 1939, while blaming the attack on Finland as a basis for launching the Winter War against Finland.
Wow.
And the Russian President Boris Yeltsin agreed that Russia had been the aggressor in the Winter War.
Oh, can I tell you about this badass Finn in that war?
Okay.
Go on then.
He was called the White Death.
What a name!
Right. He was just a farmer with a bolt-action rifle,
Wow.
and he put on his winter clothes, his winter suit, his snow suit, all white.
So my understanding is, remember, I'm a layman when it comes to. That's
old
one
trusty-
bullet,
one bullet
one
at a time,
cocket, bang.
And he killed hundreds of
Wow.
Russian soldiers. He was nicknamed the White Death. They
Wow.
eventually did catch him, and managed to kind of catch him. He was wounded, and he managed to get away.
Reminds me of the film Any of the Gates.
Yeah, but he was a lot more badass. Good film,
Yeah.
and that's based on a true story. Well, not completely, not dramatised, but yeah. Some parts of that film are actually pretty accurate. Yeah, the White Death. He was. I can't remember his name. Check him out. He's a badass.
My understanding of history isn't as good as you two, but those first four,
Yeah.
they're all big major incidents, isn't it? Like the Winter
Yeah.
War, I imagine, was a fairly.
Yeah, well, it brought the Finns ended up fighting with the Nazis against the Russians. I mean, it was a.
So these aren't small. This isn't small potatoes.
Oh,
is
no,
what I'm
no,
getting at. They're like.
No, the Russians got their asses handed to them by the Finns to start with. It was unreal. They had an old First World War German general running their army for the Finns. They were outnumbered like 10-1, but he was just so clever, and the Russians were so crap
He was
at
a
their
Hannibal.
job.
I mean the one from the 80s, not the historical one.
Well, the historical one too. Yeah.
Well,
It's also where the term Molotov cocktail came from.
Yeah,
the
it
Winter
was,
War.
yeah. Because the Finns had literally nothing.
Yeah.
And they were using vodka bottles with rags stuffed in to launch
That's it.
tanks, and they called it the Molotov because Molotov was the Russian
General.
No, he wasn't. He was a member of the Politburo.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was like a mocking him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was.
fantastic. Well, not I mean.
Put those plucky Finns.
Good.
Plucky Finns.
Back to Russia again. The Russian Parliament, current Russian President Putin, and former Soviet leader Gorbachev all admit that Soviet leader Joseph Stalin ordered his secret police to execute 22,000 Polish
Jesus.
army officers and civilians in 1940 and falsely blame on the Nazis.
Yeah.
Fucking poor old Polish people,
I know,
man.
yeah,
Jesus
man,
Christ, they're
yeah.
like the football of Europe.
But
aren't
let's
they?
face it, it's not the best place for a country.
Well,
Between Russia and Germany,
Yeah.
I've said this to many Polish friends because we speak about history and stuff, and I said, you guys really did not think of the best place to put your country, did you?
No.
You know, they do laugh, you know. I'm not being racist, it's a joke, but yeah.
having a number of Polish friends, basically to anyone listening, it's not one of those things where I've got loads of black friends. Yeah, honestly, no, we live in a very industrial town, and we have a huge Polish migrant population, and so I've got 2 or 3 Polish friends, and I've been to Poland for a week, and I fucking loved out there, and it was amazing.
They're
But
great people.
Christ, the stories I was told about Russia and Germany,
Yeah.
and poor bastards. But so they executed 22,000. And what did they to blame it? And they blamed it on the Nazis.
Yeah, so when they came into
Wow.
Poland and occupied it,
Yeah.
the Poles had been on their side. They found that grave not long ago, actually. That's
Yeah.
quite a recent one. I'm sure it was like late 90s, early 2000s they found that, one of the graves.
Christ. The sickness of these people at the top, though, to make
sick,
a
man.
decision like that. Where,
22,000?
we can sacrifice 22,000 to. Oh man.
These psychopaths in charge.
That's
That's the problem. That's the problem with the fucking world.
Human
It's
life
fucking nut.
Yeah.
is utterly meaningless to them. Wow. Okay, next.
Yeah.
Oh, it's us.
It's
Yeah.
us.
The good old British government admits that between 1946 and 1948, it bombed 5 ships carrying Jews attempting to flee the Holocaust
Oh my.
to seek safety in Palestine, set up a fake group called Defenders of Arab Palestine, and then had the pseudo group falsely claim responsibility for the bombings.
Wow.
Oh my life.
Wow. The wording of that slightly worries me, though. Because they wouldn't have been attempting to flee the Holocaust between 46 and 48.
You know better than me. I don't
you
know
got-
my
you got-
dates.
Okay, you got
so-
a point there, yeah. But I suppose attempting to be the after effects of the
Yes,
Holocaust.
yeah, maybe it's just worded badly.
Yeah. Israel admits that in 1954, an Israel terrorist cell operating in Egypt planted bombs in several buildings, including US diplomatic facilities, and then left behind, quote, evidence implicating the Arabs as the culprits.
Wow.
CIA admits that it hired Iranians in the 1950s to pose as communists and staged bombings in Iran in order to turn the country against its democratically elected Prime Minister and install the Shah.
The fucking CIA.
In fact, he was a major CIA pro-American because mainly they gave him the country, I think, twice. I'm not sure if they had. He was deposed twice and then deposed a final time, and or suddenly deposed again. It was yeah.
Yeah, we're going through. You got Turkey, you got Italy.
What was the Italian one? Sorry, just
The former Italian Prime Minister, an Italian judge, and the former head of Italian counterintelligence admit that NATO, with the help of the Pentagon and CIA, carried out terror bombings in Italy and other European countries in the 1950s and blamed the communists in order to rally people's support for their governments in Europe in their fight against communism.
Wow.
NATO, aren't they the good guys?
We're supposed to be, aren't we? We're supposed to be the guardians of peace in
The
Europe.
North Atlantic Treaty Organisation.
Don't they have like
North
nice
Atlantic
white
terrorist
hats?
organisation,
Or-
you mean?
Are they white or blue?
No, it's
Don't
the
they-
blue for NATO
Yeah,
and
they
white
got-
for the UM.
like, hey,
Yeah.
friendly blue hat. I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Although
We're now
Why is
building
this a-
troops
the why
on
is
the
this a-
Russian border, aren't we?
well, there is a build-up, but I mean, there's
The biggest build-up since Second World War, mate.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, we've sent very little on the thing of training and.
There was a
all
training. There's a training last year in Spain, wasn't there? The major
that.
one.
But the Russians had a major one as well.
I had one in Estonia.
Recently about for an invasion of the West.
So NATO's made up of which nations are all?
Oh, there's 20-something nations,
Okay.
but the main ones Britain,
Will
France,
Brexit
Germany.
affect this?
No,
Ah,
different treaty.
okay.
And this is the North Atlantic Treaty. It was originally formed to defend Europe against the Russians. The Russians had a similar thing called the Warsaw Pact, where they had the USSR and then
Right.
little satellite states, so East Germany, Poland, some of the Baltic states, they were all kind of the Warsaw Pact.
Right.
And we
we
were
got old NATO.
we had NATO and then the CETA as well, which is the Australians and the Japanese and that sort of region.
So it's like in wrestling.
Okay, yeah.
It's like DX against the corporation.
Yeah, pretty much factions,
Factions,
houses,
stables.
yeah, pretty much stables. Ironically, though, I mean, stables in wrestling parlance is how we ended up with the First World War, because you had like Britain, France, and Russia, and Italy at the start. The Italians always change sides.
Who's picked the wrong one as well?
Yeah, against like Germany and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which was comprised of Austria, Hungary, and the Baltic states.
Yeah.
And of course Turkey, the crumbling Ottoman Empire. So yeah, you basically wrestling stables. You have two armed camps sitting across from each other,
Right.
building up their forces. Eventually, something's going to ignite that powder keg. I can't click my fingers. Can someone click their fingers for me, please?
You two, can you click your
I
fingers?
can,
man?
yeah.
Ah,
It makes a crap sound of the mic.
I cannot click my
I can't
fingers.
do it. I can't do it.
Nobody's ever taught me.
No, I
Ah.
just can't do it.
You make it look so easy.
Yeah.
It is, I don't know.
Well, you-
We're physically capable, we just don't have the knowledge.
no, it's meant to be like
Secret knowledge passed down from generation.
It's meant to be. You just press your fingers together really hard and make it. That's what it is. I just can't do it.
You never make a good Ali G, would
My
you?
skin is
But-
too soft.
But don't reptilians make a lot of clicky noises?
They do.
Or
And
insectoids.
let's all look at Mike.
Yeah, shapeshifter.
Yeah. Science officer, Mike. How does he know all this stuff, Gaz? Me and you don't know this.
Nobody ever taught me.
No one ever
I'm
taught
not
me
in the
this.
Freemasons.
Yeah.
You're not in the elite, you see. You
Yeah.
need to be specific bloodlines.
No wonder that fucking CIA wasp destroyed the reptilians episode.
Oh, there's a US one there. Do you want to
go
read?
on, yeah, go
So
on.
we're still on false flags.
As admitted by the US government, recently declassified documents show that in 1962, the American Joint Chiefs of Staff signed
this
off
one.
on a plan to blow up American airplanes using an elaborate plan involving the switching of airplanes, and also to commit terrorist acts on American soil, and then to blame it on the Cubans in order to justify an invasion of Cuba.
Oh, what was this called?
Operation Northwood.
That's it.
Yeah.
This is documented,
Yeah,
released. This is not conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat wearing. This is proof, actual documented proof that the US government was spitballing ideas with each other. Like, so how can we get into Cuba? Hey,
Yeah.
well, we could
Let's,
take down a plane,
yeah.
one of our planes.
And plant bombs around various
Yeah.
US cities, yeah.
Also, I do believe in the Northwoods, allegedly, correct me if I'm wrong, listener, there was talk of using radio-controlled passenger jets
Yeah.
but without any passengers on, that would be remotely radio controlled, and we could fly them into buildings.
Yeah, perfectly possible with the technology at the time. Yeah, they were doing that stuff back in World War II.
And who's to say if they had that idea in 1962 that they didn't have the same idea in, when was 9/11? 99?
2001.
2001, that's it. Just saying.
Yeah, well, they had that technology. I mean, they were flying. They used to radio control B-24 bombers loaded with explosives into buildings, well, into targets in the Second World War. JFK's brother died that way, actually.
Christ,
The plane exploded early.
you'll know about this being in, I was about to say interwar. You're not interwar, you're
No.
a war...
History buff.
History buff, that's it.
I do not have a room full of Nazi memorabilia
Oh, no, I know.
anymore.
Well, I knew
Not
what...
memorabilia, it's just historical artifacts,
Yeah,
alright?
okay. I knew what a kamikaze pilot was, and I knew the concept of it, but I'd never watched any footage. And there was a documentary on YouTube that had been shared on Facebook, actual footage
Oh,
and
yeah,
things.
it's
And
crazy.
I sat watching it with my best mate Lee. Just so I was like, "How do you fight that?" And I think there was a quote from an American soldier saying, "It's inhumane. This is ungodly. Like, how do we fight this?" And it literally just, there was like footage of the pilots sat around, Japanese pilots, before these flights.
Oh, they all get a glass of sake,
Yeah,
cup of
just
sake, yeah.
looking quite relaxed, and
Yeah,
because
it
in their culture, they were doing the utmost honourable thing.
Yeah.
But actually seeing those planes hit battleships,
Yeah.
holy Christ, I wasn't prepared for that. Like, bloody hell.
Do you know what kamikaze means?
No, I don't know the translation.
Divine wind.
Wow.
When Japan was back in the early Middle Ages, when Japan was had to be invaded by the Mongols, Kublai Khan, his fleet was there, parked off Japan, and there was a massive typhoon,
Wow.
and
Okay.
they called it the kamikaze, the divine wind, because it stopped them invading Japan. It's the only reason they were saved from invasion.
It was divine, right?
So yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you got footage of American sailors, and they are literally just pumping. Every anti-aircraft gun is just. Because you don't really aim anti-aircraft guns, you just kind of fire into zones and hope it hits something.
Yeah. Because
And
I
it's
had
really too
this
fast,
thought-
isn't it? I
Yeah,
imagine.
you can kind of,
You
you
can
can track it.
Yeah.
You have to aim ahead.
Yeah.
But most of these things were fixed, and they were just like bang, 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 bang into the air, and then you got the guys with machine guns.
Yeah,
trying
I
to
thought
track
of
them.
this, like, struck with me because I never met my dad's dad, but we've got all his medals and his military. He didn't do anything special, he just didn't die.
You always get medals for not dying,
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
he was a gunner on a ship, which I imagine means on the deck of the ship.
Yeah.
And I thought of that. I was
Well, or in a turret.
Okay, imagine like you were just saying, the desperation and panic of trying to shoot that bastard down as it just got. No, wasn't calling the pilot a bastard. I meant the incoming bomb, plane bomb. Just that desperation of trying to shoot it. But no, he really is fucking. Oh my god! Oh my
And
god!
they would fly in like literally sort of 20 feet above the water. And mainly, two reasons, I presume. One, you're either going to blow the damn ship to pieces as you're coming in straight into the middle of it at a low level water line. And two, if you do actually get shot down, you're straight into the drink, and you're not going to worry about that massive spiralling plunge.
Yeah. I remember as a child.
It's one thing to fly into something, it's another to sit there and watch you fall to the ocean knowing that's going to kill you from 10,000 feet, isn't it? It's
Yeah, I did always used to think there's 4 medals that my granddad has on a little red thing that my dad still has. And as a very small child, think, no, he must have been some badass fucking war hero. These medals, it's like. No, they're just like not dying medals, like lasting a certain amount of time medals. But hey, they're still medals, But I just did think as a child, like he's a fucking John Wayne of the war. Like,
is that you, Pilgrim? Yeah.
Get off your horse. And funny old John Wayne clip that always sticks with me is because my dad's a massive John Wayne fan, and how the times have changed.
You haven't got a brother called like John Wayne, have you?
No. There's a famous clip, I don't know which film it's from, but he's like, "You caused a lot of trouble here today, little lady, and by Christ, somebody ought to smack you in the mouth."
Yeah, I've heard that. I forget what film
That's
it is,
where
right?
it comes from, because the next line is, "Oh," when he goes to hit her, but he's like, "But I won't do it. I said I won't. The hell I won't." Bang! And everyone's like, what a guy.
I know.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing that times have changed either.
No,
I don't
no.
want my heroes slapping their fucking girlfriends. I don't want that. So,
Go on then, shall I read one out?
Yeah.
go for it.
Let's see. A Mossad agent admits that in 1984, Mossad planted a radio transmitter in Gaddafi's compound in Tripoli, Libya, which broadcast fake terrorist transmissions recorded by Mossad in order to frame Gaddafi as a terrorist supporter. Ronald Reagan bombed Libya immediately thereafter.
Jesus. Okay, history lessons with Ben and Mike. New section. I've heard Mossad many, many times.
Israeli Secret Service.
Thank you very much. There you go. I've learned quite a lot so far today.
I think I've been surprisingly factual.
This has been surprisingly factual, considering it's about propaganda.
Yeah.
Fake news. So,
Let's see. Can I do another one?
Yep.
Oh, there we go. I remember this one. Senior Russian military and intelligence officers admit the KGB blew up a Russian apartment building in 1999 and falsely blamed it on Chechens in order to justify an invasion of Chechnya. Yeah, can we believe that?
So that was an inside job. I remember that in the news at the time.
so look, okay, I'm not going to mention a certain hook that might be Sandy or Las Vegas, but when people talk about mass shootings, modern mass shootings in recent times being false flags, and everybody gets extremely upset, understandably, and you're bullied into not being able to question that and think of that. When you then read these, does it not put it slightly into context that if a government is capable of faking things so that they can literally, I mean, like the one killing 22,000 people, you know.
Oh yeah, that thing is.
A lot of these have been setting bombs. So why do you think it's then so not you personally, the person on the internet thinks it's so unfeasible that a government might then kill 60 people to protect a law or something that they might want? More people should know about these. That's what, like I said, precedent. I just think these are terrifying. These are horrible.
The thing is, who in the country, let's take Britain for example, right? Who has the expertise to carry out a lethal bombing or a shooting or anything, a viable attack? It's only the government.
Yeah.
I mean, homemade bombers are terrible.
Yeah, I was about to say, you've seen what happens when people do a bit of DIY bombing.
I mean, yes, some do work, and sadly when they work,
but
they're very
usually
effective.
very crude and horrible. Nail bombs.
They always say you can tell a bomb maker by the fact he's missing fingers.
Okay.
You know, it's a very, if you're self-taught, it's very difficult. If you've been trained by the military, you've been doing that shit for hundreds of years, you're a little bit more professional, let's face it. You ain't missing fingers.
Yeah.
And so who has the apparatus to carry an attack like that out? Well, it can only be the government, and I'm sure that 7/7 is going to show up on this list as a suspected false flag.
These are admitted false flags, so I don't know about that.
Can we put a pin in it? 1 second.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I could do with a slash. And we are back. I'll briefly. I mentioned 7/7 earlier. There's some strange coincidences about that. I haven't gone.
Should we just say, just to confirm, 7/7 was the bombings in London?
Yeah, 4 bombings, a bus, and 3 tube stations. If I think I'm right in saying off the top of my head. As always, listener, you're the fact checker.
Yep.
But the fact that the emergency services were at those stations. Because
running drills
on that exact scenario.
Why does this keep happening? 9/11, they were flight drills. And there's literally recordings. Is this real world or drill?
Well, I would be asking that as well.
Ridiculous. I mean, do you remember when not long ago the Russian plane got shot down for entering Turkey airspace?
Yeah.
Do you know how long it was in Turkish airspace for? 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So you're trying to tell me for hours these planes were hijacked? Fuck off.
And
in American airspace.
The most heavily defended airspace on the planet.
You're taking the piss, aren't you? If Turkey can shoot down a Russian jet in 20 seconds.
Turkey.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'm not sure if they're a NATO member. They might.
They are a NATO member.
They're a NATO member. Yes. They would have some. Their military's probably reasonably well equipped. They're
But-
effectively dictatorship.
It's not the Yanks.
But it's
is it?
not the
No,
US.
it's not the
Nowhere
Yanks. It's not the
near
Yanks.
the
It's not
Yanks.
us. It's not Canada. It's
No.
not France. It's not Germany.
Fuck off.
But back to 7/7.
bullshit.
That
It's
links to
bullshit.
7/7. So then, you just happen to be doing terrorist drills at those exact stations
Yeah.
on that day. So that leads me to think. So either the bomber had inside knowledge and he was trolling them.
Yeah.
But why would you go to do the bomb when all the police are there
Well, yeah,
doing
exactly.
a freaking drill? I've just
I think
caught myself in the.
Then you look at well, from the government point of view, it's like, do they want to do a false flag but don't want too many people dead because it's bad PR? Shows your intelligence service in on the
You
ball.
have to scare us just in.
Just a little bit, just the 77 dead and so many wounded, I think.
Wow, I didn't realise it was even that many.
Or certainly, I can't remember. But so many people, losing legs because they were homemade bombs, and marbles, and bits of nail and all that. And you got to think to yourself, well, shit.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Do they want something, but they don't? Because this country would never stand for a fucking a 9/11 style incident. I mean, there'd be two. We're slightly more. No offence to Americans, we're slightly more questioning, but we've had terrorism for a long time in this country.
Yeah.
And
We don't trust our government as
don't-
blindly as
No.
some.
yeah.
But even that's on the change in America, I think.
Oh, definitely. But so is it a case of they'll never stand for something massive, but a little thing? They haven't had one for a while. The IRA's been quiet for a decade,
It was to get us into.
and it got us into
Iraq, didn't it?
Iraq and Afghanistan with slightly more public support than it had. 'Cause, I mean, wasn't the march 1 million people marched against war in Iraq?
Well, something happened in Syria, didn't it? For the first time.
Mm-hmm.
They went to Parliament to get the war in Syria, and they were denied it, weren't they?
They were.
They didn't like that.
No, they didn't. So are we due another false flag? Was it what?
Well, they got us in there eventually, anyway, didn't they?
Well, I'd imagine. Well, airstrikes and special forces certainly.
What's our justification for being in Syria? What's the government's official
we're
line?
being nice, aren't we?
We're helping out our.
Helping out our American friends
Okay.
and
Overthrow
our
the
NATO
evil
allies. Overthrow the who's backed by Russia, which puts us in a potential Cold War situation again.
Yeah, that doesn't matter because
See, a Russian
the
jet got
Americans.
shot down the other day.
was there?
Yeah, by the Syrians. By the
Oh, I did see that.
Sorry, I just hit the mic with a bottle, then tipped the bottle over my crotch. So
Does anybody remember the anthrax attacks?
Yes, I do. Yeah, it wasn't long after 9/11, was it?
No,
2001, yeah.
Although the FBI now admits that the 2001 anthrax attacks were carried out by one or more US government scientists, a senior FBI official says that the FBI was actually told to blame the anthrax attacks on Al Qaeda by White House officials.
Wow.
In order to link the anthrax to Iraq as justification for regime change.
Anthrax, of course, being the easiest biological agent to simulate or to evolve into a human lethal virus because you get it in cattle, and it's literally a few tweaks to make it. So any country in the world will get anthrax because if they have cattle, they will get anthrax.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But
I do remember all that. That was around 2001. That was around my awakening. That was either finishing college and starting uni, or still at college. Reading a lot of Michael Moore. That's a cigarette.
Yeah.
A lot of Michael Moore and David Icke came onto my radar at that time, and yeah, that's all. That was a strange time around then, wasn't it? 2001, 9/11. Wow.
Well, I remember the million people march against
Yes.
the Iraq War.
It wasn't a dream.
No.
It did happen.
And I thought.
Didn't you go?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
go,
you-
no.
well,
we went to a couple, haven't we? We were in the anti-austerity marches.
Yeah. I was in Liverpool at the time.
A million
University.
people in the streets.
I remember.
Sat on my house somewhere.
And I was watching the news. And I thought, "Fuck me, yeah, that's it."
There's
We're
no
not
way
going-
they could say no. I
We're not going to
remember
war
that.
now.
And do you remember the disillusionment you
Yeah.
felt when you went, what, they still went?
Yeah. Like a few weeks later, we still went. I was like, "What?"
A million of us?
I couldn't believe it.
Not in my name.
I was in the reserve at the time, so I was itching to get a pop at Uncle Saddam.
You're going to suck him right in the jaw.
I was under the influence of the propaganda. I was part of the system.
Hey,
So,
that was you wouldn't have been doing your job right if you weren't, I guess. But yeah, I do remember.
We all started getting issued desert camos and boots. It was fucking sweet.
Wow. Was it not scary as well?
Yeah, it was a little bit, but it was, we knew that at first it was like a volunteer thing.
Right. Okay.
So it was, and we didn't send that many, to be fair. I think over 180, I think 20 guys went, and all they did was guard a POW camp in the end, or helped guard a POW camp.
Oh, 20 people from your barracks.
Over the course of a couple of years, in all fairness.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair play. But still, if I was in your position, I would have been a bit, you know.
Yeah, it was a little bit scary. But we got drunk a lot, so it was cool. Was a reserves after all.
That's what a sad fucking 1 million people in the streets of our capital, and this is Britain, you know. We're supposed to be reserved and a bit like, oh, we don't want to fuss.
Yeah, it's true actually. Have a cup of tea and talk it over.
We fucking made a fuss. I remember that's sort of, you know, all that period of time I was getting into my weed and everything, you know, and just starting to think a little bit beyond like what you were thinking previously. And I remember the disillusionment of like, well, what's the point?
Yeah, well, it was a bit later for me, 2010. And I voted for the Lib Dems and Nick Clegg. And he fucking sold us down the river, didn't he?
Is that when he joined the enemy, just to get in?
He was meant to get abolished tuition fees. Instead, he hiked them up. You know?
Oh, you were a student at the time. Would you have been a student?
No, 2010.
Oh, no.
Where's Nick Clegg this day and age?
He's retired.
He didn't retire.
He was really fucking young as well, wasn't he?
Booted out.
Was he booted out? I do apologise,
Election,
and he was quite promising. I remember the first televised debate, and he smashed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, go on,
Nick Clegg, That's it, give it to them. Spineless fucking mollusk.
Politics, isn't it? I love that word, Mike. Mollusk. That's a fucking good insult.
And that just woke me up. I was like, what the fuck? He's done exactly the opposite. What? How can he go with the Tories?
Yeah.
But I mean, everything he was saying. So then I realised it's all bollocks. It's all a facade.
And
that's when Mike retired to the woods to write a man.
That's it. I joined the Green Party then. And
but the problem is, because I can see your dilemma. Well, it's not your personal dilemma. It's a lot of people's dilemma. Is you still want to vote for someone, don't you?
Yeah.
You still believe in one man, Corbyn, one vote. I've got a right.
Corbyn has probably about 60-70% of I agree with. I wish he'd go further on other things. I mean, I'm complete left. I am. I mean, apparently I'm more left than Gandhi.
According to a Facebook quiz.
Did a quiz and how left are you? I was right on the fucking line. Gandhi was more fucking conservative than me.
Oh, but he used to share his bed with two virgins every night.
There you go. It was to cuddle.
And wear a nappy.
He was cuddling and getting hand jobs.
He was poking through his nappy.
He was getting hand jobs. But
who's to say that Corbyn gets it and he doesn't fucking implement any of it?
Well, that's it. I think, speaking of the left-right thing though, it was interesting today. I think it's about the 4th time I mentioned him, but I did listen to about 6 hours of it today at work. Joe Rogan. I'm very much with him on this idea, because of the tribalism that's happening in America. If you are this side or that side, or mine changes issue to issue, I think, and that's
as it should.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't work like that in voting terms, does it?
Right, you've got 3 or 4 choices.
A fucking side, haven't you?
Which, in America, you've got 2 choices.
And I love this saying, but they call it toxic tribalism. And you know my rants that I've been having about politics invading my pop culture. And the Star Wars debate and all that. It's toxic tribalism. It's literally people picking a fucking side.
Yeah.
You're on the opposite side, and so I am gonna fucking abuse you and insult you.
Well, they're just brainwashed, aren't they?
Man, it's fucking pop culture.
We have had this discussion at Star Wars, Force Awakens. I can't personally stand it as well you like it. We've never started insulting one another over it. It's just opinion. That's all it is. Why do you need to start insulting people over a difference of opinion? You got to point. You can't call a Trump supporter a thick son of a bitch.
The trouble is the lack of choice.
The same reason you can't call a.
In this capitalist world, you've got every choice of every product you want to buy. How many flavours of ice cream can you get?
Oh, fuck,
you know what I mean? How many different sort of manufacturers of beer can you get? Varieties of beer.
Yeah.
But in America, you've got the choice of 2 fucking parties.
2 teams. There's only 2 teams, and I've got a really good quote that you might like, Mike. I've no idea who said it. Somebody more intelligent than me. Tyranny is the removal of nuance, which is basically like massively complicated subjects. yeah, subjects, massively complicated issues that are multi-layered and nuanced and complex, are simmered down to a fucking
Soundbite.
a soundbite, a catchphrase, an emotional
Yeah.
tug, and just fucking turned tribal and
That's it.
argued over, and
That's
it's
it.
like
That's a
it's getting nowhere.
Brilliant point to end it, I think.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Because next week we'll be talking about the manufacturing of consent, which is exactly what you just said.
Sounds
Oh.
good to me.
So yeah, we're going to wrap it up there for the, and we'll pick it up again.
And we'll bring you some more fake news, some more
Yeah.
history,
Yeah.
and laughs.
Some Alex Jones.
Hey.
Oh, a pity you haven't researched that. I can't watch that man for more than a minute if I just want to punch his lights out, which is what I will do in Dawley Town Hall if he accepts my challenge.
In a steel cage!
Yeah, no other way. Right, so I've been Ben, and I'm actually going to change my thing this week, and I'm going to say question everything.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
You just started off Marty though, didn't you?
Did I? No idea. No idea. Either way.
Question more, I think, is their thing.
Oh, well, I said question everything. I'm going to patent it. There we go.
There you go. As soon as you said it, it's copyright. Apparently,
Exactly.
I don't know how copyright looks.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I've been Gaz, and I will say as always, free biff tannin. And if
been
you want to
Mike.
know what, if you
I'm
want to know
Mike.
what that means, don't ask me.
I've been Mike, say peace out, and we need peace more than ever now.
I concur.
Instead of having ministers for war, we need ministers for peace.
As much ranting and that we do on here, and fuck that guy and fuck this guy, it's all done for sort of comedic.
Yeah.
We're essentially, I'd say, pretty peaceful dudes at the heart of it, to be honest.
I'm quivering my hand.
Yeah.
Either way.
Either way, we'll see you next time. If you have been, thanks for listening.